and HD1 Cleveland Heights. In Odyssey Sports Station.
92.3 The Fan, 2020 Sports.
Joey Cantillo lasted just 5 innings, and the main reason why, a lot of defensive issues in the bottom of the second. Minnesota scored 2 unearned runs. Twins ended up beating the Guardians 3-1. Skipper Steven vote on Joey's effort despite the lack of help behind him last night.
They did a nice job getting his pitch count up, but obviously we made them get 6 out, or we gave him 6 outs there in the second, but he pitched around some trouble, did a really nice job. I thought Joey was throwing the ball excellent.
Guardians lost their 3rd straight as Rhys Hoskins provided the only run, a home run in the top of the second. Guardians just 3 hits overall, the other 2 coming from Chase DeLauder. Guardians remain 1 game out of first in the AL Central as Cleveland got some help last night. The White Sox lose at home to Boston 8-1. The Red Sox just 41-48 on the season, but playing better of late. Boston has won 4 in a row and 9 of their last 11. The series continues tonight in Chicago. Cavaliers yet to confirm, but reports say Donovan Mitchell agreed to that 4-year, $273 million contract extension on Tuesday. The Cavaliers did announce they re-signed free agent Thomas Bryant, where his 1-year deal worth about $3.5 million. Bryant averaged 6 points a game for the Cavs last season. Cavs continue with their Summer League minicamp in Independence on Tuesday. The team get ready for Summer League play in Las Vegas. Cavs will do one final practice today before they open to play in Vegas Friday afternoon when the Cavs take on the Indiana Pacers. You can now find 92.3 The Fan on YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to get the best content from our shows each and every weekday. That's 92.3 The Fan on YouTube. Headline sports news every 20 minutes right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas. Up next time for the Ken Carman Show with Anthony Lima here on 92.3 The Fan.
Summer's here, and Browns training camp is just around the corner. Stay locked in with The Fan all summer long. The Ken Carman Show with Anthony Lima.
Cavaliers All-Star Donovan Mitchell has agreed to a 4-year, $273 million maximum contract extension that includes a player option for 2030-31 and a full trade kicker. That's good.
It doesn't hurt that a franchise cornerstone has now doubled down on his commitment to the Cleveland Cavaliers. And Donovan Mitchell, I'm told, has been very active in a significant part of the conversations the Cavs officials have been having this summer on upgrading the roster. And yes, that includes the pursuit of LeBron James, and I'm told he has made it clear that he would embrace LeBron coming to the Cavaliers and joining him in Cleveland.
This is Cleveland Sports Radio, 92.3 The Fan.
Audio courtesy of ESPN. Good morning,
Kenny.
How was it last night?
Last night?
Yeah.
We're still going. Still ringing in my ear.
Was that loud?
Oh, my God.
It was that loud?
I do think I have permanent hearing damage. That's when you know
I'm surprised it was that loud.
That's when you know you're officially too old to be going to this stuff. When you're complaining to your wife, my ear.
He sounds hoarse. You sound hoarse. Were you yelling that much?
Oh, there was a lot of
people yell at Chris Brown.
A lot of singing and dancing.
Usher concerts.
Well, it's you got to complete the sentences. You got to complete the harmonies.
Why?
Your turn, fans.
Oh, is it like Vince Neil?
Everybody. But the thing is, both of their voices are amazing.
What?
Like
What's wrong?
It's not like Usher lost his voice. It's not like I'm watching Barry Manilow struggling to get through those songs.
Oh, I've never Barry Manilow struggling to sing. I didn't know this.
It's all of them now.
Some of
Rod
the legends,
Stewart,
man.
Who's the guy from the Four Seasons?
Neil Diamond obviously had to a long time ago. Frankie Valli, they're plugging
so
him in. That's
every video.
That's
I'm getting
sad
all these
thing.
videos. But like Usher's voice is fine. More of you, Usher. More of you. Less of the people next to me.
That's surprising.
Yeah, it was awesome. I mean, don't get me wrong. It was amazing.
So did you give up on singing after a while?
Well, no. I mean, just the song. See, I don't know the Chris Brown songs. A lot of I know what they sound like. I don't know the words. But the Usher songs, I knew every single one of them.
Usher songs. Okay. So you had fun, then I take it.
Oh, it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing.
What time now did you leave early?
I think they were concluding.
Wow, you left early.
As we were going up doing the Browns Walk of Shame up West 3rd. Our Walk of Shame was like, if this would have been even a Thursday night, we just would have stayed till the end. Yeah. But it was Tuesday
night. Yeah, that's tough.
And we've got the sleep regression thing going with Izzy. So my wife's like, we this is irresponsible to stay any longer, but I think we walked out of there at 12:05, and supposedly it was going to go till 12:45 or 1.
Oh, really?
Well, we were there. I mean, we felt like we got our money's worth.
You left after midnight. Well, that was 3.5 hours. Did it start at 8:30?
It started
What
late.
time?
No, of course not.
What time did it start?
9:10.
9:10?
Yeah.
Oh, that's late.
They had covers pulled up by then.
Did they have, no kidding. Did they have any opening acts?
No, they had.
So you guys just sat there until 9:10?
No, they had a couple of DJs. They had a couple of DJs.
Oh, yeah, you said the one was wearing a Myles Garrett jersey.
Yeah, he showed up, Myles Garrett jersey.
Did you see the jersey Usher was wearing?
We all saw the jersey Usher was wearing. John could not wait. Once I gave him the green light on that sentence.
What would you like to say, John?
What do you want to say, John?
Just thank God he turned around.
All right, so Cam Justice. Was it Cam? I thought it was Cam. I woke up.
It was Cam.
I woke up to it this morning. Cam Justice has this video. She's at the concert. Usher's up there singing, and he's wearing a Browns number 4 jersey. And I went, oh God, I don't even want to see the mentions.
Does that settle it?
It was the longest 10 seconds ever, and then he turns around and says Usher on the back. I'm like, oh God. And it was all the same jokes. Thank God he turned around. Thank God he turned around. Thank God he turned around.
Well,
I'm glad he turned around.
Most of the night.
That last name, I'm glad he turned around. It was the same thing.
Most of the night, he was
God.
either shirtless or, buttoned down wide open. I mean, both of them.
They're both I'm sure they're
ridiculous.
in amazing shape.
Just absolutely ridiculous. I'm like, do either of you guys, you never drink alcohol? You never have fun? You take your job that seriously?
Oh, can't you drink the liquor?
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, you can drink. That's what Keith told me once.
That's a secret?
He's like, Kenny, just cut out the beer. I'm like, I drink light beer. And he goes, just drink the liquor, Kenny. Get light whiskey.
Be a lighter,
it can't be bourbon.
clear liquor. It can't be a brown liquor.
I got to drink clear
I got
liquor.
a collection of brown liquor at home.
Right.
So
It's
once
not
I
as
get
fun.
through that, here
It's
comes
not
the
as
diet.
fun. Let's
I
be
don't
honest.
like
Vodka
clear
is not
liquors.
as fun.
I honestly, I don't. It's not like I'm a man thing. It's not. I'm not a big vodka person at all. And you know this. The only time I've ever drank gin, other than when I tried it out of my buddy's liquor cabinet across the street when I was 13. Hopefully, Dad's not awake. Was having Negroni with him, with Lima.
Yeah.
That's the only. I don't like gin. Don't like.
No, I'm not a fan either.
What other clear liquors? I mean, there's Shine, but that turns into
Vodka.
whiskey.
I mean,
I don't like
honestly,
vodka, so I can't be drinking vodka all the
In
time.
the club going days, it was vodka, but I was also mixing vodka with anything.
Yeah, but that's when you didn't really like
when
booze.
go
You were
with
just
full
doing
sugar Red Bull. It kind of cancels
Yeah.
that out too.
yeah.
That
that's
just by the
right.
end of the night turns into vodka water. Yeah, I'll take a vodka water.
which is
That's
probably
what you
really
call
smart.
Yeah.
Getting some hydration in there.
Problem.
That's and also a problem.
But
for
Kenny,
you.
I was outnumbered last. I was totally wrong going in. I'm like, oh, come on, a lot of guys and the people were tweeting us. They're like, dude, there are gonna be no men at this concert.
I saw 3 men. I saw you. I saw Emmett. I saw Garrett. I saw
very
3
few.
men.
There were
Or
very
at least
few.
3.
See a baby.
No, I did not see 3 men
I
and a
saw
baby.
a bunch of pregnant women.
That's nice.
They were there,
Saw
so
a bunch
that's
of future
cute.
pregnant
soon to
women.
be babies.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
How many were do you think made last night? That's a nice feeling.
Well,
That's good.
this would have been
I
as
enjoyed it every time I did it.
if you were single and
Happy
you
to be
didn't mind the divorcees, this would have been the concert for you.
Oh man,
You would have been in a great spot.
nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
Definitely. I was a minority in many ways last night.
How do I how do I say this? How do I ask this? Was there any displays on stage?
Yes. Oh
'Cause
yeah.
I didn't know this until yesterday morning that basically it's the Kama Sutra up there.
Yeah, there's a couple of instances. Usher gets to take somebody, a random fan,
Oh,
clearly.
you don't think it's a random? You think it's a plan?
Well,
Okay.
they're from the meet and greet, I'm sure. I'm sure they're the ones that paid. Those probably the ones whose husbands paid $10,000 for the meet and greet.
I'm paying $10,000 for my wife to do
And maybe that's
some of the things.
Maybe that's the type of marriage
Send
they
her
have,
to
Kenny.
a bus in Youngstown.
Yeah, that,
and let
I didn't,
Snoop.
that was free, by the way, so I don't even want to hear it. I ain't paying $10,000 for that either.
And then so Usher does it, but it's real quick and actually as tasteful as it goes. But I'm like, okay, Usher has 4 kids. Does he have any daughters?
Tasteful.
He has 4 kids.
It's art, Ken.
It's tasteful.
I know they're performers, so it's part of a show. And then Chris Brown gets up there, and the one woman is handcuffed to a pole.
Oh, God.
And then a little bit later on, she's all of a sudden on a bed.
Oh, God.
And there's gyrations.
This
There's
happened last night.
sensual gyrations.
This happened
yes.
last night.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's part of the show.
That's
I mean,
part of the show.
they are sexual. The men are
Choreographed. There
sexualized,
you go.
and
Yeah. There were a bunch of adult dancers as well. And then we get a...
I don't know about all that, though. I don't think Frankie Valli ever did that.
No, I get a text from a friend and goes, hey, my family is having trouble getting in. Can you film the one song because our niece is a dancer. They're bringing up all these local
Okay.
dancers. And like young.
I thought you were doing like a bootleg
young.
for somebody in a theater in New York back in the day.
No, so the next thing I know, I'm filming the concert. I'm like, is it this one? Is it this one?
That'd been great if you zoomed in on the wrong person the whole time.
I know. It was and that was the other thing. It's the balance between, all right, I think we filmed enough with our phones.
Yeah.
We've got, can we enjoy the concert, please? Like between the two of us, we've got what you need, social media, and everybody was doing the same thing. You're like, all right, let's film. Okay, put it down. Let's just enjoy the concert. We don't need to be doing this because the phones were out the first half hour. The entire venue was phones. And I think everybody's like, yeah, okay, we got it. We got it. You can also see
That's
everybody
nice.
else's video and just call it your own too. You can look at everybody else from
You got
every
everyone.
other city and get
Probably
their...
going to be on YouTube,
It's
honestly.
probably going to
also-
be on Twitter. It's probably going to be...
Well, I'm saying like an actual filmed portion of it.
Oh,
if
yeah,
you type
probably.
in Usher Chris Brown Cleveland on YouTube tomorrow.
Yeah, like unless you like shook his
Full
hand,
concert.
or unless you were the woman who was handcuffed and then on the bed with the gyration. Does anybody want to see those cell phone
No.
videos when you like, hey, I was at the great, that's awesome. Like it's almost like pictures of newborns.
No, here, you know what? Here's the issue.
Oh, nice.
My sister,
Congratulations.
My sister on the group thread was like, "You guys have so much fun tonight. Send videos."
Oh,
Oh God.
Yeah, I did that a couple concerts ago, and then maybe a week later, I told friends I went, and I go, look at this video, and I looked at it, and I go, what was I doing?
Yeah, this is
you
terrible.
should have just sent
and
the
then
videos.
that was the last time I ever did that.
Yeah, that's tough, man.
the last
That's
time I ever
tough.
talked to them.
Yeah.
And then the last video. So I ended up sending like 4 videos to my sister on this group thread, and the last one she went from oh my God, amazing, and the last one she just loved, and I'm like, we're done. We're not sending anymore.
Yeah.
Stop
When they hit the
filming.
heart,
Okay,
that's
I
it.
get it.
Yeah,
That's,
we're done. You
we're done
wanted
here.
them. Why are you all of a sudden like blowing us off?
That's the one we're done here. You should have. You don't send her anything depraved,
No.
Carlo?
Oh no.
because I think that'd be great if you were just like, yeah, I'll show you videos, and you just sent videos of the videos I send you
Oh
of me.
yeah.
That would
I
have
thought
been great.
I thought you meant the beheading videos.
There's
and
no
the-
beheading videos. I don't send you that.
Not anymore.
Please, if you can.
Reckless speculation.
There was never a beheading video. I never sent you one.
What about the guy waiting at the trial to get his vengeance?
Which one?
Oh, you know which one I'm talking about. The one we made John watch.
Oh, that wasn't at the trial. That was at the airport.
The airport.
Oh, that's the airport.
Freeport.
That was for historical teachings for John. He's a young man, and we needed to teach him
The
history.
Sun has a podcast out.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. And we're going to move on now, is what we're going to do from that one. Well, I'm glad you had a good time.
Yeah. So we left with a few.
Did Sarah have a good time? It was her birthday present.
She of everybody in our group, she was the one that was dancing the most.
Really?
She never stopped.
That's nice.
And then
Good for her.
I was just confronted outside by somebody here in our cluster. Somebody said, "Your wife, does she not know what Chris Brown did?" And I said, "My wife over time has had to grow comfortable with certain allegations."
Those are...
My wife's like, Rihanna's moved on. She has
Those
3
are-
kids with Aesop Rocky or ASAP
People
Rocky,
do that.
whatever his name
People
is.
do that. I mean, they move on. Or you compartmentalize.
I mean, wait a second. We have to feel like we have to answer for Chris Brown.
Well, you
there
could've
were
just said-
50,000 people there
You
last
could have
night.
just said that she was there to see Usher.
Yeah,
Could have
no.
canceled it out.
No, my wife went out of her way to say, and you know what? I don't care. If I post something online and I'm going to catch
She ain't gonna
stuff.
catch hell.
Well, there's a few of her friends who I wouldn't be surprised if they said something.
Yeah. It's the way it goes. Got to deal with it. If they're friends, they're friends. There's going to be differing opinions of that. That's differing opinions is okay. There is one opinion being shared about LeBron coming back. You knew I was going to go this whole segment without mentioning LeBron.
Did he make it? He didn't make his announcement?
No, he didn't.
I said that would be incredible if we left the venue and all of a sudden LeBron James makes his announcement.
We do. Where the hell is the sheet at? There it is.
For the morning show guy to go home.
So
that would have been terrible.
Richard Jefferson was on road tripping. He says he knows something you don't know.
He told me, but I can't tell anybody. He told me exactly what was going to happen. He told me the date that he was going to tell the Lakers that he moved away. Then he told me where he was going to go. He told me not to tell. I know the whole plan. Me, him, Rich Paul, we've been talking. So I kind of know their whole strategy. They're waiting on some other dominoes to fall to make sure everything's aligned. You notice how once he told the Lakers he wasn't coming back, they signed all the players the next day. So he's just waiting on a couple of things. So me and him are going to stay together. We're probably going to chop it up today. We've been really kind of game planning how we want everything to go for the next point. But
couple of dominoes got him.
John, do you believe that?
No, I don't believe that at all.
Okay, you were obsessive over us playing it in the opening segment, going, you guys got to play this. And I'm going, okay, we'll play it. I don't think John is in on the gag here with Richard Jefferson, but we'll play it anyway. So what were we getting at here, John?
He seemed like it was a bit. That seemed like a bit to
No
me.
kidding, with everybody else laughing around him? Yeah, it probably was. But there's obviously the last time he was here, it's like Brian Windhorst was on the, what's that thing he does with Tim Bontemps?
The Hoop Collective.
And he says, he was saying the whole time, like, hey, the Cavs didn't know the first time he was there, when he came back, the first time, this would be the second time he's come back if he's coming back. The Cavs didn't even know. They had Gordon Hayward in the building, and then somebody's like, what are you doing? You can't do this. Don't do this. And that's how they kind of got tipped off, because they were about to sign Gordon Hayward to a contract. And so I think what Richard Jefferson's getting at is that he is his own being and nobody knows. And because he is who he is, he can hold up basically an entire league when he wants to, which has to be an incredibly powerful feeling. As you get older, because it's still the same. Like, I know Rick Bucher brought up the power thing or the demand thing. In the demand when it comes to general managers, I think that Rick Bucher does have a point there. Like, I'm sure there are some general managers going, it's a hard cap now. Like, he's 41. What more are we getting? We have this nucleus. Like, they're saying things, but I guarantee every owner in the league's going, oh, my God, if you have a chance to get him, we got to get him. This is a cash cow. We can make so much money. We can do this. We can treat him right. We can do all these things.
Especially
like
in the final season or seasons.
Exactly. So if he's giving you 2 years, you're just going to watch it roll in, and then there's probably some owners going, okay, we can get him, and then we can sell the team for a higher price. We can do these things. Like, every owner's there. So he knows that. He ain't no dummy when it comes to that sort of stuff. I think that he knows his power, and so he's going to sit there and wait. And the conversations about him, now that Team USA's been eliminated from the World Cup, the NFL's in the midst of the deep offseason now, baseball's getting ready for the All-Star break. He knows that he's the conversation nationally. Locally, there are things here and there. Obviously, we talk a little bit of Browns. We get into the Guardians. We're about to get into the Guardians in 5 minutes. But he knows he's the focal point of all this. And he's going to milk this because this very much is his last chance to do so. Because after this, what other decision can LeBron make that you care about? Which company to buy? Which basketball team to invest in? I mean, maybe you care about that, depending on what team, but it's not like he's going to have a bunch of suitors lined up in front of him going, tell me why I need to buy into the Grizzlies. Like, that's not going to happen. So you don't really care about that. So this is the last chance, and he knows that. And he's going to take it for all it's worth. I did tell you we're going to talk about the Guardians in 5 minutes because I love where Nick Wilson's head is at. Usually we're all ripping on each other here at this station. I love where Nick's head is at. I just don't like this idea for your Cleveland Guardians. What idea is it? I'll tell you what, coming up in 5 on the Fan. Northeast Ohio Fence and Deck. I got a much better idea for everybody. Call my buddy Jim Randall. Go on over there to the website, neofence.com. Whether it be custom wood, whether it be vinyl, remember, or aluminum.
listen to us live, we've got you covered. You can hear the Ken Carman Show with Anthony Lima, Baskin and Phelps, an afternoon drive with Nick Wilson and Jonathan Peterlin as a podcast. Full hours, full shows. Find it all on the Odyssey app, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere you get your podcasts.
Everybody's favorite guest, Jason Lloyd, at 8:20 this morning. I used to say, like, Zach was a ray of sunshine, and now I'm like, Jason's kind of reaching that level. Boy, they're both being curmudgeons, aren't they? But I love Zach. But I love Jason, so I don't know which one to kind of rip on there. But yeah, Jason Lloyd, The Athletic, going to join us at 8:20. We'll talk about LeBron. I love where Nick Wilson's head is at. We're getting ready for the All-Star break here. It was a terrible second inning last night. Felt bad for Joey Cantillo. I told you, he battles, which some people say that's a bad thing. Listen, if you're not an ace and you're never going to be he's never going to be an opening day starter for a contending team anyway. He's never going to be an opening day starter. He's kind of, to me, he's third man in the rotation. That's kind of where his ceiling is. When you battle, that's not a bad thing. Battling is not a bad thing. Getting through innings, keeping your bullpen at bay as best you can. For the most part, Joey Cantillo does a great job of doing that. Got a lot of respect for Joey Cantillo. So battling, I don't know where people thought that was like a game manager type of backhanded compliment or something like that. That's not a bad thing in my world when it comes to a pitcher, especially when we're kind of trying to restock it and trying to find a new ace. Because Gavin Williams is a guy we kind of want to put there. I don't know if he's ready to be there yet for a lot of us. Tanner Bybee, I know that he was the opening day starter. I don't think a lot of people feel that way. It's not just the win-loss record. I think that Parker Messick is on his way, but it still might be a little premature to call him your ace because he's so young. So that being pointed out, we're getting ready for an all-star break here. We're fighting for a division. I love where Nick's head is at. I just don't agree with him when he says this about a possible trade target for your Cleveland Guardians.
Given the fact he's owed $30 million a year through the rest of this decade, I'm like trying to figure out where they could move Frankie.
Well, you got 5 more years. It's going to have to be to a team where you eat a lot of the money to begin with.
If the Guardians were one of the teams that got in on this, there'd be a part of me that would embrace the idea that Frankie comes back. I could come around to the idea, but face value, no, I'm not interested.
You're not interested in Lindor?
No.
Oh, bring him here. I can't sign up quick enough. I'm stuttering because I'm shocked by that answer.
He's hitting .216.
It's Lindor.
Making $30 million a year.
He's a great all-around player. Hold on. Are we paying him $34 million a year, or are we talking about them eating 50 to 60% of the money?
I mean, even if he's at $14 million a year, that might as well be $30 million to the Guardians.
What he does defensively alone, even if he never hits again, which he will, he'll hit again. He always goes through these different little stretches. Defensively alone, he brings that value to the table.
All right, that's afternoon drive. I got that wrong. That's on me because I believe Nick had said this like a month ago and buttressed up against it that he would be willing to bring him in. That was Jonathan saying that he wanted to bring him in. That's my fault. I eat that. I'm sorry. I apologize. Love where their heads are at. Disagree with Jonathan. Disagree with Jonathan on bringing in Francisco Lindor. Anthony, would you want to bring in Francisco? I got plenty of reasons why, and none of them really have to do with money.
Well, the first thing is, to me, money is the biggest part of this because, I mean, the guy was he second in MVP voting 2 years ago in the National League? So you're not going to get a player as good or who has the ceiling that Lindor does, even at, his age. Not that he's that old. I mean, he's still somebody, he's been kind of a up and down player, but he still has a higher ceiling than anybody else you would.
There's so many things that I think about that aren't even money to begin with. Because if you were to make this investment in trying to trade for Francisco Lindor, you're telling me that money is not the same option that it used to be. So, or the same object that it used to be. So I think that would be more of a David Blitzer move, not a Paul Dolan move. Mm-hmm. I think that's what that would be. So if it's still Paul Dolan, the money ain't ever going to make sense. There's no point of having the conversation. But the point of that conversation that they're having is I got to look at the Mets. The Mets have been an absolute dumpster fire. And you got fans chanting for Pete Alonso. They're upset that Nimmo. They're upset with a lot of guys that were supposed to be clubhouse guys. And they might be better at certain things than Austin Hedges and things like that. But their clubhouse guys are gone. and they're an absolute mess. And they don't look like they like each other. They don't look like they like going to work every day. They fired their manager. That's a team that's dead in the water.
So you don't think change of scenery would help?
But I don't think, well, this is what I'm saying. If I were in charge of the Mets and trying to clean up this mess, Francisco Lindor's not the guy I'm moving. He's not. If I can find a way to get out from some of the other contracts, like Juan Soto doesn't seem to want to be a part of the team, doesn't seem to be happy there. If I can find a taker for him, maybe I would do that. Maybe I would go in some of the other places.
Yeah, but what about from the Guardians' point of view?
From the Guardians' point of view, how?
Would you?
The
question is, would you take Lindor?
This is
it sounded
another
like
thing.
you wouldn't.
I wouldn't. I would not. And this is part of it. Is one, is he that good to bring back? He has been that good. Is he that good consistently to bring back? Is he good enough to give up a lot of young prospects that we're interested in? I'm not sure if he is. But that doesn't mean that he isn't. All right? The second thing is, and this is one of the bigger things that I think of, this is unequivocally Jose's team. And it's been a damn good culture with Jose's team. Francisco Lindor, I don't think is a bad guy. I don't. I think that sometimes he plays brain dead while he's out there, and that usually rears its head in April at the beginning of the season, and then he kind of settles into the year, and off he goes. But I wonder about the power dynamic a little bit, because, Francisco Lindor was the star when he came in. Jose was the guy who all the prospectus people didn't have great things to say, just thought he'd be a middler, thought he'd be up here for a cup of coffee. And now he's become one of the all-time legends in Cleveland, one of the icons in all of Cleveland sports. He's a future Hall of Famer. You can't stop saying great things about Jose Ramirez, and there's obviously all the good reasons why. And I don't know if I want to invite that back, because if you're Francisco Lindor, you're looking for a fresh start. I don't know if you want to go back to a place where somebody else clearly runs the organization as a ball player, clearly has the hearts and minds of the fan base, and then go back to that and go, hey, messed up, was over in New York, here I am again, let's get this going again. Like, I know he's a fine ball player. He is. And I know that his batting average ain't that good. Nick brought that up. I know that that's not there.
He's been better in the postseason than Jose, though, too.
Has he had more chances, and has he had more protection around him in the postseason? They didn't go to the postseason last year. Did they go to the postseason? They went to the postseason 2 years ago. You have more protection in that lineup when you're spending that amount of money compared to what Jose Ramirez is dealing with in his lineup, whether it's you and a bunch of kids. Or, young men, very young men. So I don't think – I love where Jonathan's head is at, I should say. I like that the discussion is going on. We should have this discussion. It's intriguing. I just don't think I'd bring him back. If there were even a possibility.
I just think he has so much, the higher ceiling thing, I can't get out of my head. Now, obviously, the price is everything. Like, obviously, we're not going to pay him $30 million a year, for the rest of this contract. So how much truly is it that the Mets are willing to absorb in that contract? That's going to be the huge story.
Well, that's kind of where the conversation dies. Like, we can have the conversation, but in reality, I'm not paying the freight if I'm the Mets to get rid of Francisco Lindor, because we know people who cover the Mets. We know people who are in with the Mets, actually, and they're like, he ain't the problem. He's not the problem with that. Now, there might be other extenuating circumstances that I really am kind of uncomfortable getting into that really don't involve him. That might be the problem, but he's not part of their problem. Yeah, if I'm restarting the Mets, if I'm one of those guys, I'm restarting with Francisco Lindor.
The funny thing is, even if he were part of the problem there, I would bank on what we've got going on here. And that's not necessarily in hitting development or anything like that. Like, I think there have been a lot of questions over the years with what we haven't been able to do with guys that are in slumps or whatever. I'm just talking about the overall essence of who the Guardians are and what is acceptable here, what is expected here, and really how there's been kind of a seamless transition from Tito to Vogt.
Yes.
I think that could benefit somebody like Francisco big time.
I think it could, but had he not had the history he had here yet, he kind of left and we got pretty bitter about it. Like how he wanted to be called Francisco instead of Frankie, the whole thing. we got upset about the falling asleep during the rain delay.
He was a kid here. He's no longer a kid.
Well, he was a young man here. I understand that, and things can change. And I've gotten over the anger and frustration of that. I don't want to talk trash about a guy on his way out the door. I just think that this probably wouldn't be the best place for him if they were thinking about moving Francisco Lindor. It kind of is a movable contract. We'll see how things go here over the next 6 months, seeing how the contract or the CBA could possibly go. It might be a decent enough contract for them to be able to move, but I just don't think that we're the destination for him. 216-474-0092. I'm sure there might be some people who disagree. I'm going to get to some of you guys on this. And we signed Donovan Mitchell long-term yesterday. Excellent. And it's already being called the terrible contract that we all predicted. We'll tell you who said it coming up in 5 on The Fan.
It's America's 200.
this fall, I'm going to take my talents to.
Could he make another return to Cleveland? We are the place for all the latest NBA news and rumors. We are Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
Back of the Fan. Jason Lloyd going to join us at 8:20 this morning. Any conversation, whether it be football, baseball, basketball, it's brought to you on 92.3. It's presented 92.3 The Fan. It's presented by Xfinity. Score the most reliable Wi-Fi, one price, 5 years guaranteed. Xfinity. Imagine that. So you would bring in Lindor? Because I do think part of it is the middle infield is set. I'm going to get to Donovan here in a second because somebody called it the worst contract ever, and I go, what does that mean? And it's not just like a person on the street. Because Lima predicted it. I agreed with Lima wholeheartedly that it was going to be said, and it's already being said. I'm already annoyed, and I'll tell you why coming up here in about 5 minutes or so. But when it comes to Lindor, you would trade for Francisco Lindor? Because Nick and Jonathan had the conversation, and Nick said he wouldn't. Jonathan said he would. It is a conversation to have. He has a history here. I just don't think that this would be the best place to try to revitalize yourself. Not that he's doing terribly, but I don't think that this is the place that you revitalize yourself or find a fresh start is back in a place you were already at. I know that Manny, when he was in Boston, said so many times, he would get mad and say, I wish I didn't sign this contract, wish I would have stayed in Cleveland, wish they would have had the money to sign me, all that other stuff. But Manny ain't Francisco. It is a different player, different generation, the whole thing. Money, yeah, it's a non-starter. We know it's a non-starter. But when it comes to theory, when it comes to where your baseball team is, your middle infield seems kind of set. Rocchio's turned himself into a ball player. It seems that, no, I don't think that it's
but you
the
said
prudent
set.
move.
What do you mean by set? Because, there's no comparison between Rocchio and Francisco Lindor.
There isn't, but there's also no comparison between the money I'm going to pay either one of those players.
Yeah,
so am I willing to? Money does matter. I know,
Yeah.
and my first reactions are not monetarily. That's what I say. But when we get down to the money, it's like Brian Rocchio ain't going to get $30 million a year, $30+ million a year over the next decade for crying out loud. But Brian Rocchio's turned himself into a fine ball player. And if I have Travis Bazzana and I have Jose Ramirez and I do have some young guys coming up, I might be able to do this. Now, I don't want to overthink it and say that Francisco Lindor isn't better than Brian Rocchio. But when it comes to the price and value of what you're getting, I don't know if you want to make that investment in Francisco Lindor. Owen definitely has something to say. Well, hold on. What were you going to say back to that, or do you want me to get to Owen on this?
No, go ahead, Owen.
All right, Owen, go ahead.
I just wonder can you not put Rocchio in the outfield? I mean, we have a rookie catcher in right field.
I understand that, but that's like a placeholding thing, and I don't want to turn Rocchio into play. There is something to be said.
But Lindor's a big-time player.
He's fabulous.
In a world in which the Guardians have not been able to acquire big-time players.
I understand.
And if you can get him where the Mets are also footing a lot of that bill.
All very true. But I also am in a place right now with Rocchio, and maybe it's just my own fear, and probably this is an argument against me.
Lindor's a leadoff hitter, and Rocchio's the 9 hitter, and anytime you try to move Rocchio out of 9, he revolts.
Well, he got a couple of hits up there in the up higher in the lineup, a little bit. He's comfortable in his places, and he's comfortable at short. He's comfortable middle infield. And I'm sure he could. He would play outfield. He'd be bullpen catcher if you asked him to do that. That's not part of the question. It's just, am I getting him at his very best? And I don't believe that that's him at his very best.
3/4 Rocchio and Lindor is better than a full Rocchio. If we're worried about Rocchio's very best, don't you think adding Lindor?
When
is
I
a
do,
better option.
Fair.
This is like when people talk about, I don't want LeBron because he's 41 now. Well, he's still a top 15, 20 player in the NBA.
But can I just keep Rocchio at shortstop,
Put Travis Bazzana there at second, like always. Put Kyle Manzardo over at first. Deal with whatever defense. I think he's gotten better at defense.
I feel worse about this season's team right now than I felt about them last year. And this time last year, they were 7 games under 500.
Oh, that's a
whoa.
Wait a minute. We're having
that's
different
a whole different topic.
I think there needs to be some sort of, if you have the ability to add to your lineup right now, I think you need to take advantage of that. And it's Francisco Lindor. It's not a guy coming up from Columbus.
But wouldn't we just have,
or as they say, you're getting Jose back in a month or whatever it is, and go, that's just like adding a free agent or trading at the deadline.
Well, I hate that point too, and that's definitely what they're going to say. I understand that. But when you have Jose, and then remember, you have Angel Martinez out there to play outfield for you. So I think I'd rather make that investment, and then instead of being, I don't know exactly what the Mets would pay.
I don't know
up
that
front.
I can trust everybody to still be healthy by the end of the year.
No, but if Francisco goes through one of his swoons, which he's tending to do, usually it's at the beginning of the season, and Rocchio just turns into Rocchio again, the guy that people were making fun of on the internet, myself included 2 years ago, then we got ourselves a real problem here.
He brings up a good point, too. Why not put Bazzana in the outfield and put Rocchio back at second?
Well, wait a minute. I got my number 1 overall pick. I'm just going to start moving him all over the place? I don't want to do that. I wanted to make – he was the future second baseman. I'm going to put – I disagree with Keith. He's the future second baseman. He stays at second. That's where I'm keeping Travis Bazzana. I'm not just moving him all over the place for Francisco Lindor.
I would move anybody anywhere to get a legitimate bat in this lineup, and somebody who I trust in big. I do. I trust Lindor in big moments. Even now, I'm not going to act like I'm dialed into the Mets games, and he's been injured this year. But when you're just 2 years removed from somebody being second in MVP voting.
As much as being a big Guardians/Indians fan and wanting Francisco to flame out when he went to New York, I wanted that. It hasn't happened. He's not being moved or being talked about being moved because he flamed out. It's because they paid Soto too much money and they have to live with that. And I don't care about them. I don't care about them having to live with poor decisions. If we can have a chance to get him back, I'd like to try to get him back.
Let me get to Brendan in Cleveland. Brendan, you're first up on the Fan. Hello.
Good morning, guys.
Hi, Brendan.
Just want to let you guys know you two are the best to do it in Cleveland sports radio. I've followed you guys since you guys were doing the night shows and then moved to the mornings.
Well, thank you. We do appreciate that, Brendan. Thank you very much.
So you guys made a point, Ken. I want to hit on some points you made really quick. So talking about Lindor coming back, you even mentioned Manny Ramirez. He took the Boston contract, said he wished he would have stayed in Cleveland if they could have offered the money. But look at Jose, who stayed and took the pay cut. Do you think that if they're thinking about bringing Lindor back, that they should run it by Jose?
Absolutely.
Because Jose staying and taking a pay cut, Jose could have left and took big money somewhere else and then said, well, if they're going to do this with Lindor, I could have done the same thing.
I think that that you would always run it by Jose. I think they run a lot of things by Jose anyway. At least I
think short of Aaron Judge, you'd run everything.
Yeah,
or Shohei, you'd run it by Jose.
Brendan, I think that's a great point because this is a team, and thank you so much for the call. And I'm not just agreeing with you because of the kind words that you said. This is clearly a team like you see other teams in baseball where the culture is terrible, the culture is bad. Guys don't want to show up to work every day, and they're going through the motions, and they're just punching the clock, and then they're headed home as soon as they can to get away from each other. The Mets are one of those teams, all right? The Cleveland is not. Cleveland has won games and kept themselves in the division for a multitude of reasons. One is it's not a great division, okay? 2 is that they are a talented baseball team. 3 is that, they have a good culture. A big reason is that they have a good culture. You would run that past Jose. If Jose said no, you'd have to take Jose's word for it and say, we're not going to be involved in this.
I can't fathom a world where Jose would be like, no, I don't want a player who could help add support in a lineup that desperately needs it. That's one of the worst in the big leagues.
That's true. That is absolutely true. But I don't think he's saying – Brendan is not saying that Jose Ramirez would be like, absolutely not. He's asking the question.
Honestly, I'd have to question, and I've never questioned this ever, so that's why I think it's ridiculous. I don't think it would happen. But if Jose is out there saying, I don't want this guy, I don't want this guy, then I have to question how much he really cares to win.
I'd have to ask you why he has those feelings, and then I'd have to take those into account because I don't think that Jose Ramirez is going to find any willy-nilly reason to not bring some guy in. I think that everybody knows him as one of the smartest baseball people in the game. I don't think if he had a reason to get rid of a guy or not bring a guy in.
You're leading people on an assumption that Jose wouldn't want Francisco.
Right, which I can't fathom a world where that would be the case.
That's not what I'm doing at all. If I was doing that, I would
then
do
clarify that right now.
I thought I was very clear. Let me clarify. Brendan asked whether or not he should ask Jose Ramirez whether or not Francisco Lindor could be traded for. That's the end-all, be-all. If Jose Ramirez had a problem with it, then I wouldn't make the deal. That's all I said. I wasn't leading anybody, and I don't think anybody thought I was leading anybody to think that Jose Ramirez doesn't like Francisco Lindor or wouldn't accept the trade. I don't know what Jose Ramirez would say. I'd be very interested to hear what he would say, because if it were anything negative, well, then obviously we got ourselves a hell of a story here, and maybe we're getting away from a landmine that's out there. But if he wanted to bring him in, yeah, obviously I'd consider it depending on what the money would be, how much the Mets would take. If I could afford $30 million a year, which it ain't my money, so I don't care, then yeah, fine, bring him in if you want to. But I don't think that this...
Take that Stephen Kwan money and give it to him.
You're just bringing up old stuff all the time,
He likes
aren't
doing
you?
that. He does like rubbing that in.
Got some Deb Carman in you, I'll tell you that right now, boy. All right, coming up at 8:20, Jason Lloyd going to join us on the show. Coming up in 5, I want to get you guys, and we just said it. You predicted it, Anthony. I agreed with you about a month ago. Whenever Donovan Mitchell signs a contract, you're going to have basketball people coming out saying it's a terrible contract. Well, it took all of about 5 hours for people to come out and start saying that this is a terrible contract. The defense of Donovan in 5 on the Fan.
utmost certainty that it's going to happen because LeBron's a wild card in all this. Like, how about the idea that on that Rich Paul podcast, he said if the Knicks hadn't just won a title, he'd go to New York without a question. So what does that tell you? He doesn't need to necessarily go to Cleveland to end this chapter.
The Afternoon Drive. Weekdays starting at 2. We are Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
Lima hit it out of the park. You said it was going to happen, and it happened. It took all of about 4 hours. Sam Quinn, CBS, covers the NBA for CBS, called this a bad contract for Donovan Mitchell. You knew that people were going to say it. You predicted it. I disagree. I'll tell you why here in a bit, but I want Lima to tell everybody why either you agree or disagree, or why people would say it. Give me the explanation about why people said this about Donovan Mitchell in the first place, and then I want to know whether you agree or disagree.
Yeah, well, I remember it was John Hollinger a month ago when they were going over after the Cavs season, and they were going over the probability of what was going to happen with contracts like Donovan Mitchell's, and he's like, yeah, he's either going to wait a year and sign the massive 5-year deal that's going to be like $350+ million, or he's going to sign now and take the $68 million for 4 years. And he said the minute he signs either of those contracts, it'll be one of the worst, if not the worst, in the NBA. So, like, we were kind of expecting it just based on, we also saw what happened with Jaylen Brown. And I think Jaylen Brown is somebody I'd probably rather have than Donovan Mitchell. And I know that's controversial in some circles. Maybe it isn't, considering Donovan had a very up and down postseason too. But, you know, we are in a world where unless you're a top 5 player in the league, all these contracts are going to get ripped now because of this apron, because the teams are now starting to operate differently than they ever have.
Yeah, and you got those two guys, and I'm not going to rip on those guys because those guys might end up being right. So it's not about me getting mad at national media or anything. Obviously, I disagree because I'm a Cavs fan. I don't want the Cavs to do well, and Donovan Mitchell's the best Cavs player they have right now, right? Okay, so now that I got my emotions out of the way, my theory is, if you don't win a championship, because part of what Sam Quinn writes in his tweet here, Twitter reactions on X are brought to you by
Shibe & Jewelers, Cleveland's premier jewelry store.
7:04 and 44 seconds for those scoring at home. Part of what he says is that if you don't win a championship, it becomes a bad contract. Aren't all the contracts bad if you don't win a championship?
That means all of them are.
And maybe that's, it's Twitter, so maybe he would say, yeah, of course they're all bad. But you are in a situation like Jonathan Kuminga. What is it? 2 years, $20 million that was on the table from the Lakers here. Not a bad contract. Jared Allen, not a bad contract. These aren't 1% type players. So 1% type players like Donovan is. 1% type players get $272 million contracts and will get more as we go into next offseason. Well, if you don't win a championship with any of these guys, anybody who doesn't, it's a bad contract.
All of Chris Paul's contracts, all considered bad now.
He's got Chris Brown on the mind after last night.
But like CP3 is one of the best ever. Every contract's bad.
Yeah.
Every Joel Embiid, every
Charles
James
Barkley.
Harden, every they're obviously team building around these numbers are going to get more and more difficult.
Yes.
And I think there is an acknowledgement that probably in the CBA they went too far. They went too far to prevent the super teams, and now they got the parity that everybody supposedly wanted at the time. But what did you have to give up to get it? Well, you can't keep your teams together. Even if you built them the organic way, like the Boston Celtics did, where they drafted 2 guys.
Oklahoma City's going to have tough conversations.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, this is really hard. I guess my question is, what is the alternative for the Cavs? How do they get a player better than Donovan Mitchell?
Let him go. Trade him and not get as many first-round picks back as what you gave up for him because you made the trade under a different CBA?
Yeah, and if you did that, what do we think a team that
I'm being sarcastic, everybody.
What do we think a team that is built around, right now, at his current level, Evan Mobley? All of a sudden, Evan Mobley was your second or third best player. Now he's your best player.
A play-in team.
Are you a play-in team? Right? I mean, you're probably not that good. Do you see how many teams in the East are trying now? Like, forget about whether they've upgraded or whatever. But there are like 11 teams that are trying to, quote, compete in the Eastern Conference. And where are the Cavs then if they dealt Donovan Mitchell? And probably pennies on the dollar after you just saw the Jaylen Brown trade.
Exactly. So you're basically forced to double down. If there are people out there who think that even trading for him was a mistake. I haven't. But there are those who do. you had no choice but to double down on this.
Well, and by the way, how's the team that we traded with? How are they doing with their rebuild? They're in
still mired in whatever their rebuild. Yeah, which it looked like they were going to find a way out. Now the guys that they traded for are gone and the whole thing. They're still mired in it. So if you don't have, but that's what it is. This is why I do kind of like the new CBA. I know that it's made things significantly tougher, and I think they probably did go overboard. But I like it because we're having the same conversations that we do with the NFL. Now, the difference to me in the NFL is that, to me, the cap is not a really hard cap in the NFL if you see some of the things that they can do with the cap. And I find it to be a giant excuse to just get rid of veterans and find cheaper labor. However, I think that's probably what we're going to find with the rest of the NBA. We're probably going to price some veterans out. I don't know if we're going to find guys. Vince Carter's a legend, so that's not it.
But here's the funny thing about that.
Michael Conley's been 20 years in. This is no disrespect to Michael Conley. But if a guy starts now and could have himself a Mike Conley career, is he going to be around in 20 years? Or are they going to go, we're going to find someone a lot cheaper?
But that's the funny thing about the NBA. Say what you want about James Harden, and everybody's down on Harden because of the way it looked in the Knicks series. Well, congratulations. The Knicks made a lot of the San Antonio Spurs look really bad, too. They made everybody look bad, and they made all the Cavs look bad. Harden, Kawhi, LeBron, these older players are still better than so many of the younger players. Like, literally better than 80% of the league.
Because they're grown men, and they know what they're doing, and they know what sets to run. They're not just out there AAU balling, going to college for 1 year, where they'll just let you do anything, because it is a talent thing, and more than likely, and I know I'm casting a broad brush over here, but you're not disagreeing with me and calling me stupid, and then by the time you get to around 27 years old, you see what's going on in the NBA. You know what moves are going to, you know how to study tape at a legitimate level. Like, there is a growth that happens in the NBA, and it's part of the reason why, they are not going to move on from Evan Mobley. And they think that anybody who's bringing up trading away Evan Mobley is a total idiot. That's the way that they're going to operate. Now, we'll find out who's right in the end, but damn it, that's part of the reason, because guys are able to blossom. I do think that this might be the downturn of it, where if you have two guys on your roster taking up 60% of your cap space, where else are you going to find guys to fill out your roster? So you're going to start going into the dregs and seeing whether or not you can hide them. Well, in football, when you got 22 guys out there, it's a little easier to kind of hide some of the places that you're in if you're really good at it. But when you only got 5 dudes out there, 10 overall, it's very difficult.
Yeah,
very difficult.
I just want to know from the people that hate that hate the state that the Cavs are in, and they saw that money that Donovan got. The reactions. It's fine if you're like, "Ooh, boy, man, the way that escalates over $70 million in that last year." Okay, we're all going through the same exercise. At the same time, like when you look at when you really examine where the Cavs are, what is your answer? Like, where do you think they could go to make this better without taking a massive step back? And the other thing I saw, so many people were telling me that he has not been good in the playoffs. They're like, he's totally...
You saying Donovan, they're saying that?
Yeah, Donovan Mitchell. Like, are we not watching the same playoff games where, a couple of years ago, he, with the groin injury, he had put the entire team on his back. He was hobbling towards the finish while still putting up masterful performances.
Are these national people or are these
the
fans?
local. Cavs fans.
And that's where I get to.
Cavs fans act like he's terrible in the playoffs.
Because it's an unfair comparison. We saw 2 of the best do it in the playoffs. That's why we're about to have a whole conversation about Kyrie Irving versus Donovan Mitchell, because people remember some of the games that he put up in the NBA Finals against Golden State, some of the biggest shot, arguably in NBA history that was ever hit against Golden State. So we remember those big moments. We remember guys at their best. And LeBron
Kyrie's
and
got
those
a
guys,
lot of playoff duds over the last how many years,
You are
too.
right, but we remember our memories to the people who are at their very best. We usually don't remember, unless they're a notorious figure, we don't remember them at their worst. And we're judging Donovan in real time. So it's unfair that Donovan Mitchell has to play a game, and I'm just comparing him in my head to what I remember of great games of LeBron, Kevin Love, Kyrie Irving, et cetera, et cetera. That's an unfair thing, but that's what he's got to go through. It's the same thing I've said about LeBron and Michael Jordan. So for Donovan, I hang my hat on the 39.5, what he's capable of. What else can you help him with? Because he's not a 6'8 monster, so I still need to put guys around him.
Yeah, how many guys in the league can author up some of his virtuoso playoff performances that he's done. And by the way, with the Cavs, doesn't he have a 50-point game?
Yes.
Doesn't he have 40-point games?
But I go back to what you just said about Utah that I think is the most salient point ever. You look at where the Utah Jazz are. The best way forward is not taking a step back and moving on from Donovan Mitchell or moving on from a lot of this. To break it up, to bust it up. It's about moving forward. And so I think they had to do what they had to do, which is double down on a player that's not a mistake. He's a top 10 player in the NBA. Give or take. I know that he was 9th and 11th,
top 15.
according to the Ringer. Top 15 is still going to be top 2% of the league, top 5% of the league. I mean, this is a quality 1% type player.
And the guys that are better than him, okay, yeah, we'd all like to have Jokic. We'd all like to have Luka, who, by the way, is having trouble advancing his team. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Okay, we'd all love to have him. But tell me what your list is, and then tell me, how do you go get those guys? You can't. So what are you supposed to do? All the teams that don't have those guys should just quit? We should just stop playing basketball? We should relegate? We should go away for 5 years?
And that's
like there's always Wembanyama's not going anywhere. We're always going to be chasing those elite players. You don't have LeBron anymore. That was the cheat code. That was easy. Okay, it's not easy anymore. You don't have LeBron.
If you get him back, he's not going to be a cheat code anymore.
No, he's not at that level. So to everybody who is so down and out on the Cavs situation, tell me what they should do. Tell me right now. And if your answer is, we should rebuild, go look at when they own their next draft pick. Like, you better get amazing draft capital, which, of course, if you're trading Donovan Mitchell to a contender, that's not going to turn into good draft picks. Those are going to be in the 20s. What is that doing in today's NBA?
Cavs Conversations brought to you by the fine folks at Surfside Hard Iced Tea, who ask you to please enjoy that Surfside Hard Iced Tea responsibly. Jason Lloyd coming up in just over an hour from The Athletic. Where does he think LeBron's going to go? Where's the best place for LeBron to go? Because those might be two separate answers. And a question of legacy. And I ain't talking about LeBron. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima on The Fan. Window Nation. I'm talking about savings now.
Headline sports news every 20 minutes right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
We have audio. I have another legacy question to ask you here, but we do have audio. This is Sam Quinn, courtesy of the Third Apron podcast. We're already up to a third apron in the NBA. Is this like 5D chess with Andrew Barry?
It's like the yodeler. Just keep climbing.
All right, so here is Sam Quinn saying that Donovan's contract will not age well. It says Cavs should have had some bargaining going on.
I saw some people framing this like Donovan Mitchell had done the Cavs a favor by waiting. I don't think so. I think this is a very Donovan Mitchell friendly contract. I just would feel pretty queasy about this. This is 35% of the cap is like MVP candidate money to me. Donovan Mitchell has never been an MVP candidate. He is like a second team All-NBA in a good year, third team All-NBA in a normal year, low-end All-Star in a bad year kind of guy. And the NBA is moving away from these kinds of contracts. I think this is really going to hamstring Cleveland as they try to build a roster. Obviously, Evan Mobley making 30% of the cap on his Rose Rule max. Jared Allen starting his extension. You're going to have to pay Harden some amount. I know it's looking like they're going to get LeBron for the minimum or the mid-level or whatever. There are still problems on this roster that they're going to have a harder time solving. And then after LeBron, I kind of don't know how you're going to build around Mitchell and Mobley at the numbers that they're at. This is the first Supermax that we've seen signed kind of in the wake of everything where I've kind of looked at it and gone, I don't know if I would have done that. I might have negotiated. Could we have gotten him down to 240 instead of 273? Because this doesn't seem like it's going to age well to me.
I don't think you could have, because he could have waited another year and win a north of, what, 300?
All right, well, yes. Yeah, a few 350. So there are a few things here. He says the NBA is moving away from it. That's not technically true. What the Boston Celtics were saying was we already have one guy that is making that. So we can't have two of the guys making that. There is no doubt Jaylen Brown is going to get this contract at some point somewhere. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's going to be Philly, but he's going to get it. Like, these guys are still going to get it. Until I see teams negotiate and actually successfully negotiate, I'll believe it when I see it. Jamal Murray is going to be up. Karl Anthony Towns is going to be up. Jalen Brunson is going to be up. Devin Booker. Like, one by one, these guys are all still going to sign these contracts. The question is, what else is going to be on those rosters with them? Like, the NBA is moving away from two guys making it. They're not moving away from top 15 players making this money. They just are going to do it. I'll believe it when I see it.
Now, help me with this. Because
that'd be great if you could negotiate with them.
Well, yeah.
That'd be great. The problem is the minute you do and he says, well, then I'm gone. Bye. I'm a free agency in a year. Like, then another team's going to pay me.
But he mentions it with LeBron in the same sentence. Like, that's why you kind of got to get moving, because you're one of the suitors for LeBron. And I know that comes in. You shouldn't make all your decisions based on your future, based on a guy who might play for another 1 or 2 years. But you have to in this case because of everything he brings into it. So you say you want to negotiate, but that's exactly the point, is where he kind of holds the cards here. He is not. I believe Sam Quinn just doesn't think Donovan Mitchell's a fine basketball player, which Donovan Mitchell's a highly decorated future Hall of Famer.
He might think he's really good, just not commensurate with that price, which I think we're going to say that about all the guys that aren't Jokic.
Yeah, we're going to get to like 3 guys.
Yeah.
It's going to be Jokic, Wemby, and
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander,
like you said. Like, that's it. Other guys are going to get paid, and they're going to get paid more than Donovan Mitchell going into next year.
He's just the first. There's going to be a slew of them over the next 2 years.
I'm sure there is some sticker shock around the NBA seeing the price tag on Donovan Mitchell. I just think this is going to kind of pale in comparison to some of the other ones. Now, correct me here, because this is how the NFL works, where it's like, hey, it's not really that big of a hit because we're able to space out the money and do all the other different bonuses. And, of course, the cap's going to go up every year. Do they have that same type of thing in the cap when it comes to the NBA, when it comes to the second apron? Like, you're getting more money. Wouldn't a cap have to go up? Wouldn't the apron have to go up?
Well, a few things here.
Or is that just an impossibility? I am unfamiliar.
It did not go up as much as they were hoping for in this go-around because the local TV money, same thing baseball is confronted with. The the regional model is dying or dead. And so therefore money that they had banked on, that they figured there would be these natural raises in the cap, didn't happen. And the television deals are all done. And the NBA cannot invent a new TV deal every year like the NFL can. The NFL could say, oh, let's do an Easter game. All right, every team has another $1 billion. Like, it just doesn't work like that with the NBA. They have gotten the massive national TV deal that every other league except for the NFL and college football would die for. But that's it. They're not going to get another one.
I want to ask Jason Lloyd about this at 8 o'clock. Can I throw a wild-ass theory by you here after we take Jeff in University Heights? Because it's one of those theories that I think people are... I got to be careful how I explain it, because if I explain it the wrong way, I think people are going to think I'm jumping to conclusions. I'm trying not to. Jeff in University Heights, you're next up on the Fan. Hello, Jeff.
Hello, Ken. Hello, fellow Buckeye alum Anthony Lima.
Hello.
First of all, Ken, real quick, your mom and I were born the same year, one day apart. She's March 13th, and I'm March 14th. I've been wanting to tell you that for the longest. But to the topic of the day.
I'll tell her when I get to my office.
Oh, that wasn't the topic? I thought that was the topic.
She'll be excited.
No.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Anyhow, so I get it. I mean, it is what it is. I'm not real happy with the deal. I'm not comfortable paying a guy who's a Robin, Batman-type money. Fact of the matter is, yes, Donovan Mitchell has made All-NBA, perennial All-Star, yada, yada. We know all of that. But he is not, nor will he ever be, in my opinion, the best player on the championship team. So that's what kind of bothers me.
Mobley's got to get better, Jeff. We agree. Let's go.
That is,
but Mobley, see, Mobley, you know what, I really hope I'm wrong about this, but I don't think Mobley's going to be much more offensively than what he is now. He can't take anybody off the bounce. He has no post-up move. He has no go-to move, and his jump shot is iffy. And the dude, everybody, so he's a young player. He's only 25 years old. Dude's been in the league this going into his 6th year. You'd have thought that he would have at least developed a go-to move by now. So, all the carnation of Evan Mobley, great defensive player, yes, but will he ever be a Tim Duncan or KG or those people he was predicted to be? I don't see it, because I don't see it offensively ever in his career.
Jeff, I think what you've just highlighted, and thank you very much for the call, I think what you've highlighted is that there's, again, more pressure on Mobley than there is on Mitchell. Because I think a lot of us have, because I brought this up to you yesterday right after he signed the contract, Mitchell did, is I think that this is maybe his last gasp as a, quote, number one, as a driver of the roster. I don't think it's probably going to be that way in the future. So, yeah, he probably is a passenger. First mate.
We need Evan.
A Robin.
Evan needs to keep getting better.
Regardless, because if LeBron's going to be here, he's probably going to be here for 1 or 2 years.
I do
2 years
wonder.
at max, obviously. So Evan's going to have to be better.
What if, just a thought experiment here before we move on. Donovan Mitchell has been under the microscope in the playoffs because he's had to do so much.
Mm-hmm.
He has just had to do so much. And we've seen him limping that time of year. He doesn't have the 6'8" body. He doesn't have Jaylen Brown's 6'6", whatever Jaylen Brown is, 6'7", his body, that he can take that pounding to that level and get through 4 playoff series or even 2 or 3. Like, we see how it wears on him. What if you put that surrounding cast, some of these championship surrounding casts around Donovan Mitchell? What would we be saying about Donovan Mitchell if he had wings, like legitimate wings around him, the way that Jalen Brunson had this year? Mikal Bridges, and
We'd probably be starting to say the same things that we say about Jalen Brunson.
I'm just wondering.
They found guys who complement Jalen Brunson. Now, he's a hell of a ball player, but they also have found guys that complement him very, very well. So, yeah, they'd probably be saying the same things, would they not? If you're making a comparison between Brunson and Mitchell,
yeah,
I did get a little distracted because I'm thinking of Steve Guttenberg for a reason now.
But I'm just saying, like, we all can acknowledge that it's been awfully hard on Donovan Mitchell because he's playing with, right now, 2 big men who are not threats out from the outside. They just aren't. Like, yeah, Mobley can hit a 3 here and there. but he's not necessarily a threat from the outside. So the spacing is restricted. So you're not dealing with the amount of space that, say, Jalen Brunson has. You don't have those wings. It's not easy. It's also why a lot of the stuff that was working for James Harden evaporated come playoff time, because defenders are just sitting there in the paint. Oh, James, you're going to get by your first defender?
Yes.
We're here waiting for you because we don't respect the outside shooting of some of these other players.
All right, I want to get back to this with Jason coming up at 8:20. You were at the Chris Brown Usher concert last night, as the opening act was a DJ who was wearing a Myles Garrett jersey. And you texted us, and immediately the first one, did he get it on clearance? Which John flew out of Cleveland, a couple of weeks ago because he was going on a vacation with someone who wasn't his girlfriend, but apparently everybody's cool with that, so whatever. And he said that he saw a Myles Garrett jersey that was full price over there still at the airport. There's a reason I bring all this up. Mike Rutenberg was asked on NFL Spotlight with Ari Meirov about Jared Verse, and here is a story about Jared Verse and how vocal Jared is.
I wish all the fans could see my first FaceTime with him. All I wanted to do was just get around him and be with him because he was so genuinely excited. And then we're on the field, and I just hear, no, that ain't the standard. That ain't the standard. I turn back, and it's Jared Verse. You could feel his energy, his passion. All you got to do is turn on any Rams game and see how good the guy is. Yeah. I mean, that's easy to see. But to feel his energy and to already witness his leadership is going to be awesome for our defense, along with the other great people and players we have, not only in that room, but on our defense and our football team.
The Browns have won 8 games the last 2 years. They'll probably win another 5, 6 this year. They're set up. Now, best plans obviously get thrown aside when it comes to the Browns, but go with me on this. They're set up for the best years to be in the future. I think we're poised for a situation where Myles Garrett may end up being the very best to ever play the game. But I go back to our Nick Chubb conversation. I go back to our Jose Ramirez conversation. Myles Garrett may be very well the best to ever do it. But if this team can get their bleep figured out, could Jared Verse be the one who's more beloved and well-liked here in Cleveland, Ohio? Because if Jared Verse is anywhere near, if he can get 10 sacks and he provides real leadership, he ends up being, and they traded Myles Garrett for him and other picks, but he's one of the main pieces. They're going to put him on every billboard in town. They're going to put him on the side of the stadium. They're going to put him on the side of the new stadium, right? If he's that vocal, if he's that emotional, if it eventually leads to wins, I'm not sure how many it's going to lead to this year. We'll find out. But if it eventually leads to wins, over the next 6, 7 years, 8 years, whatever it is, could Jared Verse end up being more well-liked, more beloved in the city of Cleveland than Myles Garrett? Because there was obviously going to be less stats. I can't put the stats next to each other. But there would be more wins, and possibly, again, if they can get some other parts of this roster figured out,
You're not going to like my
more
answer.
Playoff appearances.
You're not going to like my answer.
That's fine. I'm asking.
I think everything that we are doing right now is a total disservice to Verse. I think this is exactly where the Cavs went wrong.
To him.
A total disservice. I think this is exactly what went wrong when the Cavs, in the wake of LeBron being gone, Colin Sexton, Darius Garland, here it is. Look how fun these guys are. Like, we're doing, you guys are going to love Verse. You're going to love him. Look at what a personality he is. Look at what a leader. You guys are throwing all this stuff to overcompensate for not having Myles Garrett. And guys, he's going to be a fraction of the player Myles Garrett
What's the difference?
He's not going to be in the same universe as Myles Garrett. But if you guys keep throwing these expectations on him before he's ever played a game with the Browns, which you guys are trying to find the next Myles Garrett, you're going to be looking forever, and he's never going to measure up. He's never going to be close to Myles Garrett.
It's a tremendous warning. It's a tremendous warning. All right? But I think you're wrong. And the reason I think you're wrong, you want to blow out about last night?
Yeah,
I'll tell you why in 5 minutes. Is Lima right? Are we putting too much on Jared Verse? I'm going to tell you why Tone's wrong in 5 minutes on the Fan. K&K Heating.
on the field, and I just hear, "Nah, that ain't the standard. That ain't the standard." I turn back and it's Jared Verse. You could feel his energy, his passion. All you got to do is turn on any Rams game and see how good the guy is. I mean, that's easy to see. But to feel his energy and to already witness his leadership is going to be awesome for our defense, along with the other great people and players we have, not only in that room, but on our defense and our football team.
Mike Rutenberg, or as this show is called, Mike Ruten, Tootin' Fresh and Frutenberg on Ari Myrov's NFL Spotlight podcast. Rolls off the tongue, too. That's the best thing about the nickname.
When's Colin Rudd getting a podcast? Colin Rugg. I need him to have a podcast immediately.
Why? Why?
What do you mean? I'd listen. I'd be dialed in.
I don't follow this person. I've seen some of his tweets.
I think we're all shown his tweets no matter what.
Okay. Is it the same thing as the Nick Adams?
There's got
Nick
a little
Adams?
bit of that going on, yeah.
Okay. All right. Again, that was Mike Ruten, Turton, Fresh, and Frutenberg on the NFL Spotlight with Ari Myrov. You have said, I didn't realize I was going to get you to attack me like this. You were going, oh, here we go. Because I said their best days are supposed to be, I don't know if they are, their best days are supposed to be ahead of them. They've won 8 games last 2 years. They're probably not going to win that many this year, but we'll find out. They got to get other situations figured out. And you said what? Because I think a lot of people agree with you, and I even saw Owen nodding his head. Go ahead.
I said it was a disservice to Verse because I'm so excited to have this kid. It seems like he might even be a grown
man.
More of a balanced, a balanced defensive player than Miles. Like this is a guy that can stop the run, but he's also a fraction of the player. Like Miles is an all-timer. This guy could be really good. He could be a perennial Pro Bowler. All pro even.
Yeah.
He's just not Myles Garrett. And I'm nervous that we're overcompensating, losing Myles, and we're already like, oh, he's a better leader than Myles. Oh, he can do this better than Myles. He can do this better than Myles. Then people are going to start expecting better than Myles.
You made the Colin Sexton comparison.
Yeah, and he's never going to be better than Myles.
See, this is the difference. He's not going to be better than Myles. But, hey, is Jose Ramirez better at his job than Myles Garrett is? No. It was Nick Chubb better at his job than Myles Garrett is? No. If you go on the street, who do Cleveland fans like more?
Yeah.
And if you went on the street in April, who do Cleveland fans like more? Not now. Now it's fish in a barrel. This is the point. You're right. Because I think they're going to put Jared Verse on there. I'm asking for 10 sacks this year. That's what I'm asking for. And who knows?
That's a great year.
I don't know how great that defense is compared to ours. I know that our defense has been good in the past, but hey, you got rid of Myles Garrett or you traded away Myles Garrett. I don't know what this defense is going to be. So I'm kind of holding my breath on it. You got Mike Rutenberg there. Talks a good game. I don't know what this defense is going to be. So I'm holding my breath. But I'm pointing it out. They're going to put Jared Verse all over the place. You're right. Colin Sexton was on every billboard. This is the rebirth. This is the rethink. Colin Sexton was expected to be the focal point, though. Jared Verse is expected to be a great player for this football team. But damn it, he's not expected to be the focal point. The focal point is either going to be in the quarterback room right now at number 12.
I agree with you.
Or more than likely, he's going to be in college football this coming year. And next year, he's going to be the focal point. That's the difference. That's why Myles Garrett was frustrated. That's why some of us were frustrated with Myles Garrett. Because he can't go out there and throw passes and catch them by himself. So you have to have a quarterback on this team. So we're going to go this next year, and this is what I'm going to hate, because you're going to be right. You're going to be right about this. We will get calls. I can almost guarantee it. We will get the same calls Monday mornings after their losses, because they're probably going to lose double-digit games this year. We will get calls Monday mornings on where did Jared Verse go in the fourth quarter? What happened to Jared Verse? We made this trade. Andrew Berry's an idiot. He wanted Jared Verse. We got Jared Verse, and I saw him disappear. It's going to be the same damn thing because we're frustrated because we probably won't have a quarterback situation that's very good, and we're going to be left holding the bag on what we perceive as good players, like we've done with just about everybody else. I still get anti-Joe Thomas stuff. And he's in the Hall of Fame, quite literally. I still get anti-Josh Cribbs stuff. I still get, because they don't play quarterback, so to everybody else, they don't matter. And that's going to be the problem. So until you get that figured out, yeah. But if you do get it figured out, if Shedeur Sanders does take off, if they do end up drafting any of the guys that aren't named Brendan Sorsby next year, that'd be a hell of a deal. If they draft any one of these guys and they end up finally solving this, then I think Jared Verse is set up to be more beloved than Myles Garrett ever was here.
It is
because Jared Verse is going to be in every single
He's not gonna ask for
promo.
a trade either.
He's going to be in every single promo. He's going to be standing up, holding his arm up, fire and brimstone,
barking,
have everybody there barking it up, doing exactly what everybody was begging Myles Garrett to do that he would not do for 9 years.
And then we will jump to the conclusion as an emotional fan base that he's better than Myles Garrett, which it's so funny. You said
can't say better.
You said
we watched arguably the best to ever do it at his position.
We were
I
blessed.
can't say better. Guys, there's a damn difference between better and more beloved. And I'll be willing to recognize that as time goes on.
I just remember after LeBron, people going, "This is more fun than LeBron." That was all the drama. This is more fun. They're winning 38 games, but this is more fun.
It was a bit of a nice a way to open up the collar a little bit when they were sucking up the room, but he was still doing well.
Now,
All right?
obviously,
I'll admit that
the Miles team's a lot more losing than winning, so maybe Verse has a chance in the rebuild if they do find the quarterback to get that.
That's what I'm pointing out.
It's so funny you said 10 sacks. Miles Garrett had 10 sacks in a 3-game stretch last year. That's how freakish that Myles Garrett character was when he played for the Browns.
Like, I'd rather it's so apparently obvious. And it's never and what I've always hated is because we haven't had quarterbacks, we end up having ill will towards other players. It's like, whoa, let's keep it to where it is. It's a football team. There's good players on every football team in the NFL. There's Hall of Fame level guys on every team in the NFL. But because their quarterback situation isn't good, it ends up being covered up and people end up getting frustrated. Like, again, I will still get tweets and I will still even get texts from some people. What did Joe ever do? You guys sit there and kiss Joe's ass every time he comes on. What do you ever do? Well, how many playoff games he play in? Like, what's that? He was blocking for a certified idiot. And then the other quarterbacks weren't even that good. No offense to Brian. Brian was a little bit better than the other ones, but you get what I'm saying here. So we end up blaming guys who we really shouldn't be blaming. And it's up to the Browns to make sure that we don't end up blaming Jared Verse. Because this year will probably be, I don't think people will do it on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, but we're going to get the texts and the tweets and the stuff of, where's number 8? Where'd number 8 go? And I'm going to go, Dylan Gabe? No. 216-474-0092. Oh, I want to... Do you think that we're putting more on Jared Verse? Too much on Jared Verse? Do you believe that?
I do, yeah.
Do you believe in what Lima's saying? That and Jason Lloyd. He's coming up in just over 20 minutes on The Fan.
XT.
Odyssey app. Headline sports news every 20 minutes right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
Get the latest Cavs news. The Afternoon Drive. Weekdays starting at 2. Cleveland's Sports Radio. 92.3 The Fan.
Verse.
Do we do yay boo?
No, it's not the time yet.
Jared Verse.
Yay!
Myles Garrett.
Boo.
Usher. Yay! Chris Brown.
Boo. He's wearing a number 4 jersey. Boo. But it says Usher on the back. Yay! What a time. I'd like to thank Cam Justice very much for having that video go out there because, Ken, as everybody's saying, it's a good thing he turned around. Good for Usher. I'm glad you had a good time there, too.
Amazing. That was those were the 5 minutes that Usher actually had a shirt on. Or Chris Brown, for that matter.
Well, again, like, people always accuse me of wearing shirts in the pool. I don't wear a shirt in the pool. And the reason I don't wear a shirt in the pool is because it would just draw more attention. If you see somebody with their shirt on in the pool, your eyes automatically go to the person on with their shirt in the pool. So you're just drawing more attention to yourself. But if I'm just in there, yeah, you can't miss a whale in the pool. I get that. But you're not really looking for the whale in the pool. Once a guy's wearing a shirt in the pool, you're just, if they look like me anyway, maybe they care about their skin care. I understand that. But if they look like me for the most part, they're trying to hide something there. But I will tell you, I immediately put on a shirt right afterwards. When I get out of the pool, I put on the shirt as quickly as possible because nobody wants to see that, including myself.
But everybody wants to apparently see Usher without a shirt on.
And Chris Brown and people who are in really good shape without a shirt on. And you know what? I'm sure they've worked hard. Congratulations on all their success for their
Myles
physiques.
Garrett, you couldn't find very many press conferences with a shirt on?
Because I told you the theory, and I'm telling you it was true. I wonder if it ever got back to him. When he wore a shirt in press conferences on Fridays before games, you knew that he was dealing with an injury.
That's amazing.
When he didn't wear
Ken
a shirt,
was so right about
because
this.
he was feeling comfortable about himself and he was feeling confident. When he's nursing an injury, you go back and look. The times that he's wearing a shirt in them Friday press conferences, that guy was dealing with an injury.
The Ken Carman classic right here.
Thank you.
This is one of the best things you've ever brought to the radio.
It's the same theory as shirt sleeves on offensive linemen, and there's a couple other things that I forget that I brought up. Myles Garrett, shirtless, that means he's a confident player. He's going to play well on Sunday. Damn straight. And Usher, shirtless for most of the concert, except when he's wearing a jersey of the city that he's in.
What about when
it's a confident singer right there.
What about when our third-string quarterback wears a suit on game day all of a sudden?
That was one of the best ever. That's how Owen knew that Donovan Peoples-Jones, Dorian Thompson-Robinson was going to be playing that day.
He was all over it. It was not a mystery.
It was true, man. He showed up in like a T-shirt and jeans when he wasn't playing, and then all of a sudden he's playing, and we're wearing Armani now. Oh, all right. We have a Brooks brother in here. That's a good find, Owen.
Get a cash advance on that?
Well done on that. Well, wait a minute now. You still make good money. You could afford a $2,000 suit if you're an NFL player.
Who's he playing for? The Birmingham Omahas? Who's he playing for?
But not now. He's not wearing a suit. I don't know. Well, you could still find Men's Warehouse is still around. You could still find a decent suit.
Is he on the Invaders? Who's he on?
I like the Birmingham Omahas. They're very good.
Wait, did you call them the Birmingham Omahas?
There are too many leagues. I can't keep up with all the teams in the leagues.
Wouldn't it be? I don't even know what they're. Battlehawks? No, that's St. Louis.
Battle Axe. Battle Axe.
The Saddlebags. All right. Speaking of saddlebags, Jason Lloyd going to join us coming up at 8:22. So just to finish up on the verse thing, I do want to get to a call here on the Jared verse conversation. I understand where you're going on it. I get it. I know I'm an excitable person, and I am guilty as charged of making too big a damn deal about a guy trying to replace and trying to put my heart into him if they're replacing Myles Garrett. The difference is I think this year going to be a rough year. And I do think we'll get nasty calls on Mondays after certain losses where we will get questions of where's Jared Verse. You can mark that on the calendar. July 8th is when I said it because there's going to be a Monday we lose and we're going to get calls. Guarantee it. But I think over time, if this team is actually going to where they think they're going to go, which is sometimes just a wish, if they go where they think they're going to go here over the next handful of years, yes, I think Jared Verse can be more well-liked in the city of Cleveland than Myles Garrett. Jose Ramirez is more well-liked in the city of Cleveland than Myles. Nick Chubb was the same way. Myles Garrett, yeah, Myles was great. The difference is that I think Jared Verse can provide the leadership that we begged Myles Garrett to give. And he flirted with it every now and then, but it was never anywhere near any of the consistency that what you need in a football team. And honestly, I found myself in a really weird spot where for a lot of us, it is teamwork, teamwork, teamwork. We were taught that in high school, and then we get done playing football after high school. Some of us go on to college. Most of us don't. Guys who are listening to this, they played in high school, and that was it. Or they even quit before that. And you are fed teamwork constantly because you're high school kids. We need teamwork when you're high school kids. But I look at a guy like Myles Garrett. What can I say to a guy like Myles Garrett? I don't have to do that anymore. I don't have to jump through the hoops of having to balance insane talent, insane output, and not a bad guy. Yeah, speeding tickets, I understand, but it wasn't like he's a bad person to, I know, checking his messages during a meeting, not being a guy who gives a lot of rah-rah speeches or doesn't really want to give a rah-rah speech at all. A guy who seems to be more into himself and his own output than maybe with some of the team, which is some of the criticism there. And I had to go, what am I to say to the guy? The guy had 23 sacks last year. I can't say anything to the man. Now, I'm not going to get 23 sacks out of that position this year. I'm hoping to get 10, but if I get some leadership out of it and the quarterback position ends up being good, we're in a better spot. Like, the whole point of getting Jared Verse and to get that extra first-round pick is that Jared Verse plays in more Browns playoff games than Myles Garrett ever did. That's the whole point of this entire season coming up. It's not about this year. It's about the future.
Which, by the way, is why I sat here over the last year and made a case on why it would make sense to trade Myles. So I don't want to talk out of both sides of my mouth here.
I know. I think you're warning against us putting too many eggs in the Jared Verse basket.
I thought they crushed the trade. I did. I thought they absolutely. At first, we were getting crazy. We're like, 3 or 4 first-round picks, and then we finally understood, the contract and how all that factors into it, his age,
I understand,
and everything. But in the end, I do think they killed it, and I'm excited about Verse. I just get nervous about the way I can already see some Browns fans talking about him.
Jason Lloyd coming up at 8:22 on the Fan. Mike and Avon Lake, you're first up on the Fan. Go ahead.
Good morning, fellas. I really liked what you just said there about leadership. I think it's huge. I think you got to put a big pie region into that. If you look at all the greats, not a lot of greats didn't have that leadership quality, and maybe Myles had it silently and just did his own thing. But the question I wanted to ask you was, and I kind of came up with the answer on my own here, and I want to see what you think, but what's a comparison to a really, really great player, not a Myles Garrett level, but he was an excellent leader where he was able to push the team over that hump. And then I thought about it, and I was like, that was Joe Flacco for us. We got to see that. Joe Flacco wasn't at his apex, but he brought leadership. It was an adult in the room. And I would love to see go back, how many incidences off the field did we have when Joe Flacco was in the room? I know, Myles Garrett set that tone. You think about it not being that big deal about the speeding ticket. What's the first thing we heard about Shedeur off the field? 100 miles down the road. Oh, it's okay. Our best player can do it. I can do it. I think leadership means a lot. I think you're going to see it from Verse.
Now wait a minute. That's a hell of a theory. So you're thinking that maybe that Shedeur was going 100 miles an hour because Myles likes to go 100 miles an hour, and that's okay?
I mean, I'm not saying Myles was telling him, here's where I take my Porsche down, just watch on this curve because I flipped it before. But, what was Joe? We had nothing. He had everyone bound, and we were winning, so that helped. But, he brought a leadership out of Njoku.
Yeah.
He had that offense tight, man. I remember I was at that game when he threw for almost over 300 yards. We lost in that game against the Rams. Me and my dad walked out of that stadium in Browns gear, just smiled.
He also brought legitimacy there. I mean, I get your comparison, Mike. I like that comparison. That at least that part of it. I didn't really like the speeding comparison, but that's okay. Mike, thank you for the call. But Joe,
he was on the same roster and could have said, "Don't speed."
Yeah. But Joe also, what I'm looking at is we were able to enjoy a good run because you had an adult, you had a guy who was legitimate, you had a guy who didn't come in with a bunch of questions, and I think a guy who obviously has had some talent, Hall of Fame talent, elite talent. That's always been argued about Joe, but obviously you know that he was a good quarterback, and we shook out whatever gas was left in the can when it came to Joe Flacco coming on this team. I think what he's trying for is what you're looking at in Jared Verse. Like it's a scary thing where Jarvis Landry was the best leader you had because he's a wide receiver. And not that he wasn't a leader, Jarvis was a leader, but he's a wide receiver. It's hard to be a leader as a wide receiver because it is a naturally selfish position, and I could understand a million reasons why. And it's also they're not here for a long time. Very few wide receivers, if any, especially the really, really good ones, and play on one team for their entire career or finish their team with a team for a long period of time. Jarvis, unfortunately, didn't. And he's told that story afterwards that it really wasn't his decision. But Jarvis was a hell of a leader. And when you're grasping at anything for leadership that isn't the natural position of quarterback, it's a frustrating thing. And now I have a guy who looks like he's going to at least, we'll see. You could say these things, but
it definitely seems like immediately they saw that he was going to be someone very vocal, someone they could rally around.
And so Jared versus so much, there's obviously natural talent there, but when you go from UAlbany to Florida State to the NFL, you're looking at a guy who's obviously self-made in so many ways. I don't think that's going to be lost on him, but we're going to find out because he's going to get thrown into it, and it's probably going to be an awkward October here as we get ready for this season, and he's going to really be challenged because it's one thing to go into a locker room of veterans and to see the way they act and to carry the mantle of leadership with those veterans who are in the playoffs, who have a standard, who've won a Super Bowl with that organization and are still there. It's going to be another thing to have to create that standard, and that's what's going to be ahead of Jared Verse. That's what makes it a very tough thing. That's why I don't need 23 sacks out of Jared Verse. Would be nice, but I don't need that. I need him to play the long game with this football team and be one of those guys that are able to police the locker room, get guys to be on the same page, establish a culture, and then when you have a rookie quarterback come in here, I mean, I'd love Shedeur to be the guy, but we all know how this is looking. If you get a rookie quarterback in here, you tell him this is the way it's going to be. We're not just going to hand you the keys and expect you to be the leader when you're not really ready to be a leader yet, like we did with the last one that everybody seems to miss all the time. 216-474-0092. I'll try to get to you guys coming up in just over 20 minutes because we have the wonderful Jason Lloyd, and I think it's Connie time.
Right now, looking for a winner. Enter the word CAR, C-A-R, 923thefan.com before 9 a.m. Your chance to win a $50 gift card to Blue Falls Car Wash, where this week only, free washes at the Blue Falls Car Wash North Canton location only. It's all brought to you by Blue Falls Car Wash and Sports Radio, 92.3 The Fan.
We're celebrating.
today and start playing Vegas Friday afternoon against the Indiana Pacers. Get all the latest Browns content filtered right to your phone during this offseason by following the Browns playlist and 92.3 The Fan on the Odyssey app. Headline sports news every 20 minutes right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
It's time for the fun now. Let's go to the Wise Heart Right, We Make It Right, call Kyle Wright hotline. Welcome in Jason Lloyd, senior writer for The Athletic, locally based. Hi.
Might be the nicest thing you've ever said about me.
Probably is. Is LeBron coming back?
I knew you were going to start there, and I'm not going to answer that. Because if I answer that, you're going to clip it. You can put it on the internet. Because I don't know anything. I'm not on the front lines anymore.
Oh, why all of a sudden? Oh, wait a minute.
Lines.
Whoa. This guy was sitting there talking to. You sound like Jack Nicholson in A Few Good Men about wanting you on that wall with all the Shador people on the internet. And I don't pay attention to my mentions, and I don't give a damn what anybody says about me. Now you're afraid that we're going to clip a video of you?
Now he's pulling a Brian Windhorst. Oh, don't aggregate me. I'm going to say all these things, but don't run with it.
Listen, I'm not in that world anymore. I'm not on the front lines anymore. I was in 2010. I was in 2014. I was in 2018. I'm enjoying sitting back and sipping iced tea and wondering like everybody else. Certainly they're in the mix. There's no question about that. And, part of me thinks that if it wasn't Cleveland, they would have gotten that message out by now. And I'll leave it at that.
Well, I think what you're getting at is it is hard all these years later after both sides reconciled to the degree that they did and it culminated with a championship that LeBron is going to lead everybody on at this stage and at his age where people are getting their hopes up again, all to pull the rug out from underneath?
I'd be surprised by that. Yes, I'd be surprised, especially, I think that he does have some regret over how the decision went down in 2010. And certainly we're far removed from that. But I've seen the playbook before because I've, again, 2010, 2014, 2018, it all looks so familiar and it all feels so familiar. And I just think that if he wasn't serious about this and about coming here, I think that they would have gotten that word out by now in subtle little ways. Because I've been part of those conversations in the past and I know how they operate. I know how they do that. I'm not now, like, hands up, like I've got nothing to do with this now. I've been on vacation for 2 weeks from The Athletic and I'm just enjoying sort of watching the whole thing play out.
Everybody wants to be Jason Lloyd, man. He's just an ass kicker in every single way. He joins us right now from The Athletic.
What does that even mean?
What are you talking about?
Nothing. Move on. What?
Well, so, Jason.
I was going to ask a question, but go right on ahead.
Real quick. In 2014, the story everybody kind of knows that basically LeBron just kind of made up his mind and they informed the Cavs, hey, make this work, financially. This time around, I'd like to think there's a little more savvy going on, sophistication behind the scenes. We saw maybe the first real domino to fall yesterday with Donovan Mitchell's contract. We know the James Harden signing to create the cap space has already happened. They're just going to figure out the number to add as much flexibility as humanly possible. Does it kind of feel like they're at least building something here? Or do you think, again, it's LeBron in the 11th hour going, hey, I'm coming, make it work?
Well, I do think that sort of their whole offseason plan has been him. That's sort of the same as what it was in 2014. Obviously, there was a little bit higher stakes in 14. They had to clear max space for him, and they were trading players away that were key players on the team. They traded Tyler Zeller for nothing. They traded, I think it was Jarrett Jack for nothing, just to clear space to open the max slot. This is a lot different than that. But as is the case with a lot of LeBron's free agencies, you're now at the point where it's basically over. Could you still make a trade or two? Yeah, sure. Of course you could. But it just feels like this is the plan. And, I keep going back to Dan's tweet when they lost to the Knicks, when they got swept by the Knicks. And I was a little jarred at how he said we're nowhere near where we need to be because he isn't typically that forceful anymore on social media. And they haven't really done anything to improve the roster of consequence since then. So, yeah, that's what I said. I'm curious to let this play out and see how this goes now.
What did you think of Donovan Mitchell's contract?
I was surprised he signed it. It was, only because who would leave $80 million on the table? And I think he looked at it as he's already got one of those max contracts, and this is the second one, and obviously provides stability for the Cavs, and it cements their championship run now in these next couple of years. I mean, that contract could get ugly on the back end, but you don't worry about that right now. You're trying to win a championship right now. You'll deal with the back end of the contract when it comes. And if you've got one or two championship rings, nobody's going to care about what that contract's going to look like. He's had some injuries, and I think he took the security and didn't want to deal with a lot of the stuff that comes with being a free agent in terms of the questions and the speculation and all that stuff. The trade was we can officially stamp it. We could before, but for sure now we can officially stamp it. The Cavs took a massive risk when they traded for Donovan, and they knocked it out of the park. It was a home run. And to get him to sign not one but two extensions, I'm telling you, that first year when he was in Cleveland, before he signed the extension, anytime you talk to anyone in the league, they never thought he would sign one. And now he signed two. So that's a huge win for the Cavs.
What did they do to make him so damn comfortable here?
That's a good question. I think they built a winning team around him. They had a good core of young players that they put around that he walked into. They even put around him. They dropped him into it. He said when he got here, he didn't. It's funny because he's from New York. He said he wanted to go to New York. He thought he was going to New York, but at the same time, he loves it here. He said he loves the cold. He doesn't mind the cold. He grew up in the cold. I think he likes the fact that he's been embraced and welcomed, and it's just been a good fit. And hopefully they can finish this off here and get one or two more pieces and possibly win it. But he's done everything. I said this before. He's done everything that they wanted him to do since the trade. They had a young group of players that weren't sure how to win, that weren't sure, really what life was like in the NBA, and it was his job to sort of guide them and lead them. And he's done that, and he's done that exceptionally well, both on and off the court. He's not a guy you have to worry about getting into something at 2 a.m. You don't have to worry about that with him. He says all the right things. He does the right things, and he has been exactly what they needed since they made the trade.
Jason, I feel like I've entered crazy town with the way people are talking about Donovan Mitchell now over this contract. I mean, I knew that once he signed it, people would be calling it the worst contract in the league. We've seen that consternation over what these contracts are going to be for a lot of teams. Jaylen Brown, what his next contract is going to be. There's going to be a slew of other players. But you just said all this really positive stuff about the environment that the Cavs have cultivated. We have a genuine superstar who probably never in a million years had Cleveland on his wish list. And next thing you know, they've created an environment that would make him want to re-sign, 2 times over. And yet, after all these things you just said, why are so many Cleveland fans in my mentions every day telling me how this team is going nowhere, no chance to win a championship, and there seems to be such a malaise otherwise, and they're acting like the Cavs are some team that should be ashamed of where they are in life?
Can I steal a LeBron line? Because LeBron spoiled everyone. And he used to say that when he was here. When he would get mad at me, he would say that. He'd say, because I'd spoil you, that's why. We'd fight about something. He'd say, it's because I spoil you. And he said that in 2010, right before he left. He said, I spoil y'all. And I do think that there's some merit to that. We're coming off the 10-year celebration of the championship, and all the stories and all the feel-good stories of the parade and coming back from 3-1 and everything. And everybody saw all the pictures and all the videos of those guys hanging out together, and everybody relived all of that, while at the same time the Cavs were getting swept from the conference finals. Now I look at that and say, hey, they made it to the conference finals. That's a step in the right direction. Other people look at that and say, but they got swept and they played like crap. That doesn't count. So I think that they're sort of swimming up the current against the previous era. And because the previous era won a championship, that's what they are being measured against. And Donovan isn't LeBron. He's never going to be LeBron. That's not a fair bar. LeBron's one of the 2, 3, 1, whatever number you want to put it on, greatest players ever. Donovan's never going to be in that conversation. That doesn't mean he's not a great NBA player. So I think he's being held to a standard that he'll never meet. And, you know, it is hard to win in the NBA with undersized players. Yes, the Knicks just did it with Jalen Brunson. That makes them like 3 now in the last 30 years. So is that what you want to bet on? You want to bet on 3 times in 30 years, or do you want to bet on the other 27 times that it's happened? So that's why I think that there's some frustration over it. There is risk in giving him that contract. There's no question. There is risk. And, you know, I said a couple weeks ago, I'm not sure I would have been happy to give it to him. But I understand the position that they're in, where they don't really have much of a choice. And he is still a top, whatever number you want to put it on, top 15 player, top 10, whatever case you want to make. He's on that level right now. Is he at the cliff? I don't know. Maybe. There's been certainly some injury concerns, and certainly in the playoffs as well. There have been things going on. He didn't have a great postseason this year, but again, you're trying to win a championship right now. You're trying to win this year and possibly next year, and that's it. And so you worry about the back of the contract when you get there. That's not today's concern. Today's concern is trying to win a championship, and you worry about, you know, the heavy price tag on the back of his deal when he's 33, 34 years old, if he's in decline. You worry about that when you get there. You're trying to win right now.
Jay, I actually, I couldn't agree more. I said this to Lima yesterday about the comparison. I go, it's very, very hard to really appreciate how good Donovan Mitchell really is when the legend that we had, we're thinking already this year about bringing him back, and then he's still in the league. And he's still playing. It's impossible to be fair to Donovan Mitchell. I know people don't care about fairness, but it's true. I'm not trying to put any sympathy on him or play a violin for him, but it's just a simple fact. If you're a hardcore Browns Guardians fan and then you pay attention to the Cavs, like you've already seen the best of the Cavs. I don't know how anything can top it, so anything pales in comparison. So, yeah, you're going to naturally be let down by all that, aren't you?
Yeah, and that's, you know, I mean, listen, 2016 was probably the single most incredible year of my career. You know, I've been doing this a long time, and that year and when you throw the Indians World Series run in with it, that was a magical time here, and that's the bar.
You wrote a book. I have the pictures to prove it too.
You just keep those holstered. But you know, that's the bar that fans are going to measure every other team against. And fair or not, that's just the reality of it. And it's probably unfair. Because again, you had the greatest player of his generation, one of the greatest players to ever play the game, write an unbelievable story by coming home to the people that he spurned. And we know the story now and how it all goes. And it's really hard to top that. And you know, that it shouldn't take away from the current team and what they're trying to build, but I'm sure it does in a sense.
Would you want Francisco Lindor back?
I had you guys on earlier. I heard a little something about this. I mean, yeah, sure, I'd love to have him back, but I don't think there's anything realistic about that scenario at all.
Well, suspend realism here. I mean, we're talking the 98% of what we talk about in sports is semantics.
He doesn't want to get aggregated. Doesn't want video clips out. Doesn't want to talk sports.
Where did you go? Where did you go on vacation?
What does he want to do?
Where'd you go on vacation? Yeah,
my backyard. We didn't go anywhere.
Oh, you need to go back out there and find your balls. It's what you need to do, Jay.
I just said I'd love to have him back. I just don't think I don't think that's tethered in reality whatsoever. He's a tremendous player. Of course you'd want him back. Like, if we're playing fantasy baseball, yeah, go make the trade. That'd be great. I just don't I don't see any world where the Mets would eat as much money as it would take. And, you know, I don't think it's realistic, but yeah, he's a phenomenal player. Again, you talk about the golden age or whatever. I don't know. I guess the 90s would really be the golden age of the Indians, but I mean, 2016 was pretty special, and he obviously had a big part in that.
Okay. Anthony, ask your question about Jared Verse now.
I'm seeing the overcompensation now that Myles Garrett, an all-time great, is gone, and we are, I think, getting a little carried away with the talk about Verse, what an amazing leader is. He doesn't just rush the passer. He also stuffs the run. He's going to be a better fit than ever before than Miles was. And are we getting a little carried away? I think we're doing a disservice.
I don't know. I guess I haven't read it quite the way you have with that. I like the trade. I thought it was a great trade. I thought it was a year, not too late, but I thought they should have done it last year. I thought they should have traded him last year. So to get what they got for him and to be able to get a player versus caliber plus picks, I thought it was a great trade. And, like Miles last year did a terrific job against the run. Like, full credit to him. Not only did he break the sacks record, he also was much, much better against the run. Prior to last year, I'd have people tell me, like, all you got to do is run in the gap that he vacates because he's just running upfield and looking for sacks. So he was not as good against the run. So I do think that is fair if Verse can help them in that. I do think – and listen, I'm not trying to crap on Miles. I'm truly not. But he wasn't the perfect player. There are areas of the game where, maybe Verse can be a little bit better. Now, he's not going to be the same player Miles was as a pass rusher. There's no question about that. I don't think anybody's fooling themselves on that. I just think it was more alignment in terms of age, in terms of contention window, and in terms of just being honest about where they were. So I thought it's a great trade. So are people getting carried away on Verse? I mean, it's July. What do you expect? Like, people are looking for some sort of glimmer of optimism with this team. So I've laughed at a few things that have been said about various people and the organization and their role this year and the optimism.
Yeah, what have you laughed at? What are you laughing at? What's funny?
Nope.
You used to have guts.
Yeah, I used to. Now I'm old.
You used to be fearless. Now look at you. Come on, give me something I can aggregate you on. Come on. I know it. Come on. Hey, what do you think of Shedeur Sanders? Come on.
It is July 8th. The sun is shining. It's a beautiful day. We'll have plenty of time to argue about Shedeur.
Okay.
In the weeks and months ahead.
All right. Fine. All right, Jason, thank you for the time.
I've given you plenty.
Did you?
Yeah.
I disagree.
Oh,
Jason,
sorry.
thank you.
I'll do better next time.
I'll see you. Thank you. I'll see you in hell. Jason Lloyd from The Athletic on the Why It's All Right, We Make It Right, call Kyle Wright hotline. Did that end to your specifics?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
The thing he says about LeBron is true. Speaking of LeBron, because we always are at this time of year because he possibly could come back, a trip down memory lane to show you just how bizarre this version of the LeBron saga is. Bob Myers is talking, of all people. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima, take us with you to work on the free Odyssey app.
sports story in Cleveland or anywhere in the sports world. Hear the news straight from the newsmakers themselves with pressers on 92.3 The Fan. Brought to you by Expert Renovations. ExpertRenovationsLLC.com. There's Cavs and there's NBA news that happens while you at work. Baskin and Phelps. Weekday mornings starting at 10.
Tone ain't here. It's me. Coming up in a little bit, have we been spoiled by LeBron James? Jason said we have been. Also, you want to get back into the Francisco Lindor conversation? Well, I think we do. I think we have to.
I know that Jason poo-pooed it and basically was like, fat chance and you know what, but I just wondered about, it seemed like the afternoon show was just debating whether you want him or not. Like, just point blank.
We were debating whether we wanted it or not. Now, I messed up who was on whose side, and I apologize for that, which you can go back and listen to that flub using the Rewind feature on the free Odyssey app, powered by Integrated Restoration, local experts in water, fire, and storm disaster restoration. We have a trip down memory lane. We just sent John on a wild-ass goose chase. Didn't mean to do it because I actually wanted to throw this by John, but I want to show you guys how nuts this has become. Bob Myers is pitching LeBron, saying that his best chance to win. You remember Bob Myers, big-time NBA general manager, team president, 4-time NBA champ. Bob Myers says LeBron's best chance to win in Philadelphia.
I honestly believe this is your best chance to win. You have to decide all the other things that are equally important. It's his life. He has to play. He has to face the scrutiny of his decision. They'll criticize him, which is his life. So he's been through all that. If it's about winning, let's talk about this team, because you can win here in Philadelphia. If you want to talk about other stuff, about what's this guy like, what's that. By the way, he knows players, a lot of them better than I do. Their games. This is a guy that probably watches more basketball than anybody understands. Like,
that's a fact.
He's not just playing, and he's probably watching the game in February that nobody's watching. So he knows, not only does he know the guys, he knows how they play.
So you bring this up about Bob Myers. This is all playing out on live TV, internet, every podcast. This whole thing is going. Bob Myers is now on podcast saying that he should go to the 76ers. I mean, we are in a wild area.
That wasn't just a podcast. That was Rich Paul's podcast.
Yes.
With Rich Paul.
Thank you.
So it's a little different than him just going on any random podcast, on the Zach Lowe podcast even.
That's LeBron's agent.
It's LeBron's agent.
He's pitching LeBron's agent. We are getting the free agency summit from 2010. We are getting it in 2026 live and with cameras and microphones. And it's amazing. It's amazing how this has been, broadcast for public consumption.
He doesn't need to have these meetings. These are the meetings.
Yeah.
Like you were reading off. How old was that article you were reading off there, or was that recent?
Oh, no. This was from 2010.
Okay, what the Cavs did to try to get LeBron?
Yeah.
Because John was 9 years old. John had no idea that any of this happened in the city of Cleveland for LeBron. He had no idea that there were people lining the streets of downtown booing opposite cars that came by that were from different teams, cheering the Cavs, cheering LeBron, telling him to stay. They made a music video out of the whole thing. I don't know if that worked for or against, regardless. He had no idea. And that was done before this internet age. Now, we're seeing the pitches being made live. What did they actually do for LeBron?
A couple things here. So this article was written right after this. It said, "It went well," said a person with knowledge of Cleveland's visit who spoke to the Associated Press, condition of anonymity. It was very, very relaxed. There were moments of emotion and moments of laughter. So basically, the Cavs went and they thought they had nailed the pitch, but the story about each team individually had a very, very different pitch. We remember the Miami Heat, the rings on the table with Pat Riley, kind of, get the message sent like, you come here, you're going to win championships. That's what we do here. But the best part of this was, knowing James as well as they do, the Cavs, represented by Dan Gilbert, Byron Scott, Chris Grant, tried to lighten things up by showing the 25-year-old a cartoon featuring him and his friends as characters. The team had an animated video made in the style of Family Guy, one of James' favorite TV shows, that depicted some inside jokes and locker room humor as the Cavaliers reminded James that he is indeed part of their extended family. I remember a little bit of that at the time.
I forgot all that.
I think there were fart jokes. Like, pardon the usage,
jokes
but
are fun.
I think that was literally what they were just trying to, impress upon him is we're family. You grew up with us, and obviously, as we know, LeBron probably didn't need any of the pitches. He probably was always going to Miami.
I'd like to say that we have a far better nucleus around us than we would have in 2010. Am I wrong?
Well, they'd used up all the assets at the time.
And I know it was a different time and things like that, but I know Adrian Wojnarowski wrote that it was basically already a done deal regardless of anybody's pitch. But it does kind of take you back to the way things were. And you guys are right. Like, I didn't realize that. Bob Myers is with Rich Paul, who is LeBron's agent right now as he says that. And that's for all of us to see. That's public consumption. So the meetings, LeBron says he's not going to take meetings because these are the meetings. The podcasts and us playing them from Rich Paul and all the other ones, these are the public meetings. I mean, that's insane. Is Dan Gilbert going to be on a podcast with Rich Paul? Is Kobe Altman going to be on a podcast
I have
with
a
Rich
feeling.
Paul?
Well, so maybe you could read into this.
There might be some tight questions there asked about Darius Garland and all that stuff. That might be very interesting.
Sure. Honestly, doesn't it feel like, and you could tell me if, yes, I'm obviously biased. I'm obviously going to be emotionally attached to this. And I do feel like it would be hard for me to see him with anybody else at this point. Doesn't mean we haven't gotten it wrong with LeBron in the past. But I saw Daryl quote tweet it and say, all right, Cavs are up. The Cavs aren't up. The Cavs are only going to be up if they're desperate and they think they need to.
You don't want them to make a pitch?
I don't think they have to. That's what I'm saying. Like, if I saw them make a pitch.
You got to make a pitch.
No, Kenny, if I saw them have to make a pitch, I'd be like, oh, man, they don't think they're getting them.
But you got to make a pitch.
Well, I think that's already all that's been finished.
Okay,
already.
well, they don't need to get, like, I'm not expecting Kobe Altman to get on his hands and knees in front of Rich Paul on his podcast and beg LeBron to come back or anything. That's not what I'm pointing out. I think there is a respect given. You can't just sit there and assume that he's going to come back. I know that there's all these things of him at his club and in the golf outings and things like that. You can't just assume that he's going to come back. He still likes his respect. Does he not? Does he not want to feel wanted?
Yeah.
I think that would be a major mistake if there weren't strong overtures posted. If Kobe Altman, I'd probably feel better if I saw Kobe Altman on the podcast.
Really?
Yeah, I would. Because you got to talk basketball. It's not just coming back in. Maybe I'm wrong.
This is wishful thinking, of course.
You guys know the number. Let me know. Maybe Lima's right.
I just
don't think he is.
The moment I see Kobe now in response to Bob Myers, if it was Kobe or, we don't have a GM currently, but it's expected that it's going to be Brandon Weems getting the bump up.
Yeah.
Then I feel like the Cavs don't think they're getting him. And so now they have to pitch. Now they have to go do this. They have to try to save face.
See, I don't feel that way. Like, if Kobe Altman goes on Rich Paul's podcast and just starts ripping Bob Myers and says, like, this is why Bob Myers is wrong and why this is the... I might be a little bit worried about something like that. That would come off as desperate to me. But a person like LeBron wants to be liked. He wants to have his respect. He does. And I think that you have to give a good, honest pitch to Rich Paul, to LeBron, all the team, that this is why you want to come back, because it's not just I think a guy like LeBron could feel taken advantage of very quickly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And that's where I don't want him at. I don't want him to feel like, oh, you guys just want me back for what? Some dog and pony show? Because why? Because your ticket sales are lagging? Because it cost $10 to get into the building last year, even though you were a 54-win team? Is that why? Is that it? We're going to do this again? Am I going to sit here and feel the way I did in the summer of 2010, or I should say the spring of 2010? Like, I don't want that to happen. So, yeah, you better put on a suit and tie and better get on over there and start telling your story and giving your pitch. It's got to change from what it was in 2014 and 2010. Like, you don't have to move heaven and earth, but you give what he sees. You got a good basketball team around there. I wouldn't say you go in, I'll just fire Kenny Atkinson if you come here, but maybe it's on the table for some folks out there. They don't need to act desperately, but they need to act. They need to have discussions, good, strong ones, and tell them why this is a place to come back and finish your career, not just because the fans like you. 216-474-0092. I want to ask folks that. Do you agree with Lyman? Do they even need to make a pitch? Do the Cavs need to make a pitch? Would you be more nervous if you saw Cavs top brass on a podcast with Rich Paul like we just saw with Bob Myers? And have we really been spoiled? And is that unfair to Donovan and what's keeping him back with the Cleveland fans? Ken Carman, Anthony Lyman, take us with you to work on that free Odyssey app. Watch us for free on YouTube Live for free.
Like, dealing with the young team is a breath of fresh air. There's so many brokers in
minutes right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
Don't be that guy who missed the biggest Cavs news during the offseason. Hear the latest during our exclusive 2020 reports. Cleveland's Sports Radio, 92.3 The Fan.
Here, County contest time right now here on 92.3 The Fan. Win a 4-pack of lawn tickets to see your choice of John Mellencamp, Thomas Rhett, Chicago with Sticks, or Billy Idol at Blossom Music Center. Enter the code word T-shirt. That's T-S-H-I-R-T. T-shirt by the end of the hour at 923thefan.com. Get registered to win courtesy of Live Nation, where for a limited time, buy 4 lawn tickets to select Blossom shows for $99 at blossommusic.com.
I am getting smashed over my opinion of the Cavs.
Why?
Over that they should make a pitch to LeBron or to Rich Paul and LeBron, and that Kobe Altman should show up on Rich Paul's show. Because Bob Myers is on the show. Now, Bob Myers, everybody else would need to make a pitch. Would they not need to make a pitch?
I think it reeks of desperation. I think it's a one last-ditch effort. I mean,
you're drunk from last night, though.
Probably,
you don't make any sense.
Probably. But I think Philly is throwing everything they can because they make a compelling case. You know, the problem with their compelling case is they're relying on Joel Embiid. And so what are the odds you actually get Joel Embiid to play enough games and be able to get through the playoffs? He had 3 good playoff games last year, and that was about all he could muster.
All right, let me get to the phones here. Let me see if I could find some backup on this. Justin in 7 Hills. Don't call it 6 Hills. You're next up on the Fan. Hello, Justin.
Hey, I don't think you're going to find any backup from me.
Oh, boy.
It's July 8th, Ken. You don't think the Cavs have made a pitch already behind the scenes? Bob Myers.
We said they made some pitch, but I think that they need to go public with it, don't they?
Do they? I mean, Bob Myers. You think that was some groundbreaking testimony that he threw out to Rich Paul?
No,
I'm sure he heard it all
but
before.
But if you want his services, you're gonna go through the motions and act like you like it.
No, I don't think so. Not for LeBron and the Cavs.
Since when are we in a position of power? Do you believe? So you don't even care if we have LeBron back then?
Obviously, I do care, Ken. But no, I don't.
Well, if you care that much, then you better tell Kobe Altman to hustle up and tie that tie and get his ass over there to the studios.
If anybody's got the closest relationship with LeBron and his team, my gut tells me it's probably the Cavs crew. All right, I'm sure they're doing what they got to do behind the scenes. I don't know. And if Kobe goes on, it's just a wink, wink. Here we go. This is what I'm telling you the same thing. I don't think they need to do it.
How long has Kobe Altman been the general manager / team president of the Cleveland Cavaliers? Thank you, Justin. It's been a long time. Was he that position in 2018? He might have been. But 8 years changes a lot of things, all right? I mean, some of these guys were just assistant pimps before. Now they're in it.
Well, let's think about this.
I'm dead serious. It's not where they got to go out there. I'm not saying to beg.
Yeah.
But for the guys to say, they don't need to make a pitch, then I guess you really just don't want him back. Guys like LeBron want his respect. You're not going to take him for granted. That's half the reason that he said he left in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, look, LeBron
in 2010.
LeBron and Rich are certainly they're not foreign to this concept. They've been through it. They also know where these teams are in the pecking order. Think about it this way. I mean, Brandon Weems, probably going to be your next GM of the Cavs. Romeo Travis, now coaching the Summer League team all of a sudden.
Those are nice gestures, obviously, but it still matters.
Ducks in a row. The James Harden contract, still we don't know the terms. Because why? Because once they kind of figure out what their plan of attack here is, what their flexibility situation is, like Donovan Mitchell, already with that stability, that contract signing. Like, to me, it really does. The last 3 weeks of LeBron nostalgia with his old teammates to now
Stop
with his
living in the past. Got to put the right period on the near future.
I just think this is all reaching the inevitable crescendo that is LeBron James making his announcement.
It may be, and you may be right. And in fact, I'll take it even further. I think when it's done, like LeBron's going to go, if they do get him, LeBron's going to go, they didn't need to make one to me. The fans in Cleveland, Ohio, my family in Cleveland, Ohio, I've always been a part of you. That's probably what he's going to say. But, I've told you guys a bunch. Liz and I don't give each other gifts. We don't give each other gifts for Christmas, birthdays, anniversary, Valentine's Day, Father's Day. We don't do it. That doesn't mean you don't make an effort, okay? That doesn't mean I don't try to do something for her birthday. Just because we may not give each other gifts doesn't mean I don't try to do that. She still is my wife. She's still a woman. She wants to feel wanted on our anniversary.
I've done a month of gifts for my wife.
You've spent yourself into Hawking and into oblivion. You've taken out a second mortgage to be able to go see Chris Brown and Usher. You've done all those things. Just because we don't give gifts doesn't mean there's not an effort that needs to be made. Just because we have a history together, you still need to be everybody wants to feel wanted, including LeBron. Nobody wants to feel like they're taken advantage of. So a thank you would be nice. Hey, by the way, is LeBron going to play for the max deal? No, he's not.
No.
He's going to play for less. So that's a discount. Because wherever I go, if I'm LeBron, you guys are going to make a boatload of money off of me. And I'm going to play for a discount. And you could say, LeBron, you're going to make a boatload of money too. Don't act stupid. Yeah, but we're talking about your business, not mine, and don't call me stupid. That's what I would say if I were LeBron. No, you got to get your ass out there and make some sort of a public pitch if
Kenny
you want.
wants to see it.
If that's what's needed, that's what that's what they need to do. It sounds like you're just taking nostalgia for granted, because LeBron could sit there and look at all this and say, hey, we've had great memories together. And by the way, you'll still build me a statue when it's over. And if you don't, they'll do it in Akron, and then they'll wonder why you didn't build me a statue. Try not retiring my jersey. Try not having me back for the 15-year and 20-year and 25-year, et cetera, anniversary of the one championship that I know you'll win and probably will only win if you don't get me back, because you didn't think it was worthy of having to come make a pitch to my agent, one of the three most powerful men in sports. You're crazy. You're crazy. You make that effort. You do everything you can. You don't need to go out there and embarrass yourself and beg him and get him on your knees and act like an idiot. You don't need to do that. But you need to go out there and give a damn good effort. You don't even want to hear me anymore. You don't think this is dumb. You think this is dumb.
Let's see.
All right.
Let's see.
Jim in Strongsville. Hello, Jim.
Yeah, you know what, Ken? You know what Bob Myers looks like? He looks like a pathetic loser. A pathetic loser begging LeBron James, 40-year-old LeBron James, to come play for his team. He's the president of an NBA team.
He didn't beg anybody. He didn't beg anybody.
The 76ers will never win anything because they hire a pathetic loser.
They won a championship.
Like
Did they get it in 83 or something like that? They've won a title.
Dude, pathetic loser. That's what you want the Cavs to look like, pathetic losers running around with their little cups out. Like,
they're not pathetic losers. They've been pathetic losers before. That was when Chris Kaman took a nap on the bench when they lost to the 4-man Lakers. That was pathetic. This isn't pathetic, but you need to go and make an effort to bring him back.
What? He knows what you are. He knows you want.
And that's fine. It's okay to put him in a position to go, guys, you don't need to do this. I appreciate the effort. I appreciate the respect, but you don't need to do this. You put him in that position instead of having him listen to all these other suitors, these possible teams, or his agent, Rich Paul, listen to all these teams and go, boy, the Cavs just seem like they're taking us for granted again.
None of it matters.
Remember that? Because Rich was in the room with him in 2010. Rich was in the room with him in 2010. Boy, LeBron, this is just like when they showed us when they showed us cartoons. They figured Family Guy was enough to seal the deal.
It's like Lima said, do you think he was ever going anywhere but Miami? So what the heck was it all about? Just to stroke his ego? I get Ken, that you like your ego stroked. LeBron's past that, man. He's in his 40s. He doesn't need that anymore. He knows he's great.
You know that's not true, Jim. You know that there's nobody who hates me more than myself. Look at me. You understand that there's self-loathing here, and now you're doing it for a show, and I have to let you go. I can't believe that people are agreeing with you on this. Look at me. Stop looking at your mentions. I know that everybody's agreeing with you. I cannot believe it.
Kenny,
the people who want LeBron, you guys are all telling me that this team is garbage if LeBron doesn't come back, but Kobe Altman doesn't have to say nothing. Okay. All right. He can fly back and golf at the country clubs, right? He still owns Club 330. He lives in Los Angeles. He's had all these businesses here in Ohio. He doesn't have to play for the Cavs. Let's stop being silly. We're doing some of the same stuff. I have the memory. John isn't from here, and John was 9 years old. But we're doing some of the same crap we did in 2010.
Okay, all I'm saying is I think that we're past the pitch stage, and I think the people you're hearing from now, they know they're not getting them, and that's why they're pitching them.
I hope you're right. But to say that they don't need to, I think is foolish. Sean in Cleveland, hello.
He's still up 3:30.
Oh, he's listening to the radio. Sean, you got to turn the radio down.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, let me have it. Let me have it. Everybody hates me for this. Apparently, I'm wrong for whatever reason, even though we already did this in 2010, but whatever.
Yeah. Honestly, I do think LeBron James is going to come back to Cleveland. He is beloved here. And all this crap about the fit is not right or whatever. What team have you ever seen LeBron James go to and he wasn't a great fit, or the players around him, he didn't make them a great fit? And one last thing, I don't know if anybody talked about this or not, but the last time that he came to Cleveland, Ohio, and he played for the Cavs. He played for the Lakers, and they did this big thing for him. LeBron James was on the bench crying,
and that's
very,
nice.
Very emotional.
That's a nice thing. But you know what? Right. He has spent. We cannot understate this. I'm not asking the Cavs to beg. I'm not asking the Cavs to embarrass themselves. I want them to take themselves seriously and make a pitch, because we can do nostalgia all we want. And he could look at this and go, hey, it's a great memory, but I just spent 8 years being a business partner of a team that basically acted like they don't need me. And their fan base is saying a bunch of nasty things about me out the door, saying that I wasn't a real Laker, I just wore the jersey, that the championship didn't count. I need somebody that's going to give me real basketball reasons and stop playing with the past. Give me something real. Give me a reason to come there. Or tell Rich Paul. Rich Paul gives him a reason to come there. Or give Rich Paul a reason for him to go there. That's what I want. I'm not telling them to beg. For the love of God, stop telling me I want the Cavs to beg, everybody. Not just you, everybody, Sean. I'm not telling them to beg, but damn it, you go out there and you make an effort about this.
Yeah, you have to.
Thank you.
I agree with you. I think
Sean.
you have to make a pitch. Thank you.
I appreciate you agreeing with me. Thank you very much, Sean. You have a wonderful day. I got one. I can't. We just take LeBron for granted all of a sudden? Oh, he'll come back. That's fine.
I have never once taken that dude for granted.
I don't think you are. I don't, but I think you've got everybody believing that. No, we don't have to say nothing to him? Okay. What's his favorite TV show now? Should we just send him clips and memes of his favorite TV show? Maybe it's Curb Your Enthusiasm. Let's send him Curb memes. What the hell? Give him a reason.
Probably playing lessons with the pros or something.
Would you bring back
Such
Lindor?
A golf fanatic now.
Would you bring back Lindor?
Yeah, why not? Let's go.
All right.
Nostalgia's in play today.
I'm going to ask more of you people.
Last night it was Chris Brown and Usher. Today it's LeBron coming back, Lindor. Who else? You want Baker? You ready for Baker?
What is the segment they used to do after us? What, a Cleveland Classic?
Oh, that's right.
Ken Carman, Anthony Lima. Oh, God, they were probably listening, so I'm going to cover myself up now. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima. I'll get to more of you guys on LeBron and whether or not you think I'm wrong, and whether or not you'd bring this other guy back, a Cleveland Classic on the Fan.
We've all
against the Indiana Pacers. Listen to The Fan Rewind, weeknights 11 to midnight. All the best segments from all our shows, and can always listen on the Odyssey app. Headline sports news every 20 minutes right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
I mean, this is a blast. I'm getting smashed in the comments. Just absolutely smashed in the comments. This is great. Yeah. So all I said is that the Cavs need to go and make a pitch. Not like in person. LeBron isn't taking in-person meetings. The pitch, can we replay the Bob Myers? Like this type of a thing.
Yeah, so let me set it up. So the new president of the Philadelphia 76ers, we know Gansey was the one he hired, but Bob Myers is kind of overseeing all this. He was at the time, back in the day, the genius former agent and, the guy that helped build the Golden State Warriors. Then he went into TV. Now he's on the Rich Paul Max Kellerman podcast, and he's openly pitching the agent of LeBron James.
I honestly believe this is your best chance to win. You have to decide all the other things that are equally important. It's his life. He has to play. He has to face the scrutiny of his decision. They'll criticize him, which is his life. So he's been through all that. If it's about winning, let's talk about this team, because you can win here in Philadelphia. If you want to talk about other stuff, about what's this guy like, what's that. By the way, he knows players, a lot of them better than I do. Their games. This is a guy that probably watches more basketball than anybody understands. Like,
that's a fact.
He's not just playing, and he's probably watching the game in February that nobody's watching. So he knows, not only does he know the guys, he knows how they play.
All right. Kobe doesn't need to go that far. He doesn't need to go the ass-kissing way of, well, he probably knows the players better than I do. You've won 4 championships as an executive. You can give yourself a little bit of credit there, sir. You don't need to go that far. Kobe doesn't need to go that far. But you need to show up. If it would help, why not do it? What is the problem? I don't understand why you would feel worse if he showed up on the podcast.
Oh, I think that
this is Rich Paul's podcast that Bob Myers was on, and we just played that clip for everybody.
Yeah, the reason I came to that conclusion was that in my mind, this stuff has already been settled behind the scenes. It's why they're dragging out the James Harden part of this. We just had the Donovan Mitchell domino fall yesterday.
Then why does it have to be dragged out if it's all been worked out behind the scenes?
Well, I do think LeBron has a date and a way to announce this that is going to be meaningful to him.
Fair.
What is it going to be, the anniversary of 2010? Where
today's the anniversary of 2010.
What did this? I thought it was the 11th.
No,
this
July 8th.
Oh, you're right. And the 11th was 2014. But ironically, Donovan Mitchell was in the crowd that day. I don't know if he was one of the Boys and Girls Club that was representing Connecticut or whatever, but isn't the story that Donovan Mitchell was there that day, which is, the symmetry of something like that.
I did not know that, or at least I forgot it.
Or
I've got this new thing called Google over here.
Well, I was supposed to Google that Donovan Mitchell was.
It's been in my timeline for
supposed to Google everybody
for 3 weeks right now.
You should Google everybody.
Everybody.
Jim Gray was there that day.
Yeah, he was. Google him.
Could he be back? Could that be part of it? Like, how would they, when you really think about it, I know we got calls to get to maximize this, and people hate LeBron for this stuff, and I'm seeing it. I'm seeing a lot of people because I think they're hedging because they think if he doesn't go, I want to be able to kill him. But
yes, I agree with that.
To maximize this, he wasn't the number one guy. It was Giannis. Giannis was the number one guy. Then Jaylen Brown became a huge factor.
Because they have futures ahead of him. He only has 1 or 2 years. It's only fair.
But how do you think he's going to announce this? Is it going to be on the Rich Paul podcast?
Probably on Rich Paul's
I saw
podcast.
people alluding to that.
Yeah, probably that way. Is there another grandiose way he could do it?
I thought there was a chance yesterday.
Is this like
Usher
a
Chris Brown
gender reveal type of thing?
Yeah.
Can you do that? Go to the phones. Diane in Brooklyn. Hello, Diane.
Hi. How you guys doing today?
I'm doing wonderful, Diane. Go ahead.
Okay, Ken, I want to tell you that I completely agree with you.
Hell yeah.
You
Thank
are
you very
right,
much.
and all these other viewers are not looking at it the right way.
Appreciate it.
I don't care if it's Cleveland. You want to be known that you're not taken for granted. You want to know that other teams are interested in you, but the Cavs do need to make a pitch. I don't care, if LeBron does say in the end, well, you guys didn't need to do that. Fine, but you need to throw your hat in there, because if I was LeBron and it was me and I didn't see the one team that I really want to come back to making a pitch, that would be negative with me. That would be totally negative with me. It would be just like a repeat of before, and I think that's wrong. Whatever job you're in, I don't care if you're in construction or you're an office worker or whatever. If you put in for a job or whatever, and you want to be considered for it, you want to be appreciated, and LeBron's no different.
I agree.
I mean, he's earned that right.
I agree totally. Diane, thank you very much for the call. I mean, I do not want to underestimate. You could say egotistical, but it's the human need. It's the human need as an adult to want to be wanted, to want to be appreciated and respected.
The funny thing is, Brandon Weems, who does not have the GM job yet officially, but it seems to be trending in that direction. They've just been hanging out over the last few days. How crazy is this? The whole thing is crazy. That part of it is crazy. The fact that Bob Myers, a sitting president and executive, is pitching Rich Paul, and you're right, you said it when the mics were off. But what's he doing there? He's ass kissing.
No, I said it on the air too.
Okay.
Yeah, hell yeah. You got 4 championships, and you're saying that. Well, he probably knows guys better than me. Okay, let's not kiss too much ass here, Bob. All right, I know what you're doing, but let's not go crazy, because I think he sees through BS too.
Who has this cartoon, the Family Guy remake from 2010? Somebody's got to have a copy of that. I mean,
Worldwide Wes,
right?
Remember
Somebody.
him?
Well, he's helping out the Knicks.
Oh, he is.
Hell, if we got to see the video of the Jim Dolan speech, we've got to have that. Somebody in Cleveland, if you've got that cartoon.
Was I with you when we talked about the Jim Dolan speech?
Oh yeah,
I told you that was you. I said because I said he was doing that for him more than he was the players. Okay, let me get to Jerry. You're next up on the Fan. Hello, Jerry.
And good morning to you. How are you? Thank you for having me. But we're talking about pitches. Why don't you take your platform and pitch LeBron to save Firestone Country Club and put together the greatest golf pro-am that Northeast Ohio's ever seen? It'd be the biggest golf event outside 4 majors. The amount of idiots he could get to come in here would be the biggest event. It would happen for year after year after year.
Give me the name of 2 of the idiots, Jerry.
Which ones you want to know?
Any of them.
Carter?
Okay, and then who else?
Throw in the rest. Sion, Romeo, who cares? They're all in collusion. They're all getting jobs, for Christ's sakes.
Jerry, I thought you were talking about celebrities. I didn't know you were going to start mentioning his
celebrities.
friends.
Which idiots you want to know? We got all the libs in Hollywood, those crybabies. Nobody wants to have it. Let them come out here and play golf and hack it up. We can sit there and laugh and point fingers at them. The hell are we talking about? Use your platform.
I mean, they've had Maverick Carter.
Jerry, thank you.
I think they've had him as.
That was actually Jerry in Upper Sando.
I think Maverick Carter has been an.
I didn't say where he was from. I saw that. I go, I ain't saying that.
He called Maverick Carter an idiot. I think he's been successful. Obvious.
I don't think anybody was taking that very seriously. Tone.
He's been an adjunct professor at the Harvard Business School.
Listen to him.
This guy who couldn't even fill out an application to Harvard
so you're
is
telling
ripping
me,
on Maverick Carter.
You're telling me that it's a desperate move. Do you hear what you just did?
What?
Did you really have to defend Maverick Carter there? Or could everybody tell that he was flying off the handle there? Did you really find that you had to defend Maverick Carter?
The amount of people I've seen over the last few weeks go after Rich Paul, saying that he's a nobody. This is only because of LeBron, and I'm like,
well, it started out because of LeBron, but now
and Rich Paul answered. Rich Paul answered that. He said, "How did Donald Trump get started?" I didn't have a father that could help me out in this. He's like, yeah, we all get help. We all get help along the way.
That's true.
It does seem a little like if you ripped on Rich Paul when he botched his very first deal, okay, I would get that. Like the guy has universal respect in the sports world now for what he's been able to accomplish. Maverick Carter too. I mean, think about Nike and Nike and all that they've done, with Maverick Carter and the CEO, he mentioned the libs in Hollywood, and Maverick Carter is a big deal in Hollywood too as well.
But I just felt it was odd that you felt that you needed to defend Maverick Carter because maybe they were listening and maybe you wanted to make sure that they all knew because you're afraid that he might not select here after all.
I feel like I feel like the Cavs are pretty good situation right now.
All right. Well, I mean, you were just talking tough 5 minutes ago until all of a sudden that guy took a swing at Maverick Carter on the phone.
And the Hollywood liberals.
Who is your favorite? Power rank your top three Hollywood liberals. Power rank them. Let's go.
Mark Ruffalo, number one.
Whoa. Wait, I'm sorry. Is your name Anthony Lima? I mean, you're both Italian, but I asked Tone, John.
Wait, who did he say?
Yeah, what did
He said Mark Ruffalo, number one.
Oh, man. Well, hey, he was great in Spotlight.
Okay. Who's number two?
Also, what was the Scorsese movie? Shutter Island.
What else?
I love that movie. I'm a big fan.
What else?
Oh, yeah, he preaches some politics. And,
who else?
You know, depending on your...
John Voight.
James Woods. Hey, James Woods, I can separate.
He was awesome as Lester Diamond.
I can separate the art from the artist.
Amazing as Lester Diamond. Amazing. Isaac and Shaker, you're next up on the fan. Hello.
Hey, guys, how you doing this morning? Hey, I'm of the optimism as well that they should throw a pitch at LeBron. I mean, it's no guarantee to come, but I have the one thing that's guaranteed to make LeBron come, and this guy almost stole my thunder to call before you. That one guarantee that will make LeBron come. We got to get Trump to tell him, don't go to Cleveland.
That's amazing.
That's it. We got him. We got him. Get Trump to tell him, don't go to Cleveland.
Good point.
He's here.
Isaac,
automatically.
Thank you for the call. Thank you for the call. Chuck and Oberlin, I don't want to hear one word out of you. Don't you do it.
What's up, man?
Hi, Chuck.
Hey, out of y'all two real quick. Which one, the real pimp and the assistant pimp? That was a hell of a line earlier.
Thank you very much, Chuck. You go right on ahead.
All right, so that's what I want to say. Listen, we don't want to be in an entitled situation right here. This guy literally has goat poop up under his shoes. He was born with antlers. Brought a championship to Cleveland.
Hold on, Chuck. He was hold on.
What's up?
Do they have antlers or do they have horns? Goats.
Antlers, horns, I don't know, man.
And he was born with goat poop under his feet, is what you're saying, under his shoes?
Yeah. Who am I, Crocodile Dundee? No, okay. I don't know, bro.
Well, I wanted to make sure of it because that was a good line. All right, Chuck, go ahead.
But I want to say I agree with you. I mean, listen, to not do that, and if we don't get LeBron would be, I leave out the house and my wife says I love you. And if I mumble it and I don't say it loud enough, she'll yell out, hey, I didn't hear you say it. Mm-hmm. And we've been together 10 years and married for 6, so we got to show gratitude. This guy brought us a championship. I don't care what we need to do. We need to do it, and guess what? He deserves it. Thanks for taking the call.
I'm glad you said that, Chuck. I totally agree. Thank you very much. Again, my wife and I will celebrate 15 years on August 19th. We were happy for one of them. I'm kidding. You have to, even though we don't exchange gifts, there has to be an effort. There has to be an effort. I should make an effort. I would like her to make an effort, but honestly, I'm just happy to be there. An effort needs, people want to feel wanted. LeBron wants to feel wanted. Yes, an effort needs to be made.
Don't you also think that LeBron...
I'm glad that people are starting to come around on my point here.
LeBron and Rich have made it abundantly clear, what he's looking for. I mean, aside from the podcast stuff, I'm talking about these teams know. They know exactly what he's looking at in his final year or two, especially, I saw San Antonio. There was a big post the other day that San Antonio's been ruled out because they're not going to allow the cameras. They're not going to allow the behind-the-scenes stuff that maybe LeBron is looking for in companionship with a Netflix deal, with somebody to sell their documentary to. Of course, that would never work with the Browns. We've got dueling camera crews in our quarterback room at all time, do we not?
Oh, God, here we go.
What's another one? Let's bring LeBron's crew in here, too.
Oh, you're talking about Deshaun Watson's camera crew and Shedeur Sanders' camera crew?
Yeah, they're doing, sometimes they run into each other. I've heard. It's got contentious. Like, hey, you're in my shot. Hey, wait, I'm trying to white balance. Get out of my shot here.
Wait till the best boys fight it out.
Oh, the key grips. Poof. It's not that big of a room. And then, thank God, Dylan Gabriel's so small, or he'd be fumbling all over the place.
He's a gaffer.
Sometimes he has to help with the tripod.
Takes up one of the legs.
And then Taylor Green, I don't know what room I'm supposed to be in. Am I a punt returner? Am I a receiver? Am I a running back? Am I a quarterback?
It's the part William H. Macy played in Boogie Nights.
That's right.
My wife has a bleep in her bleep. I'm not concerned with the photography of the movie right now. Shador? Cool Ray in Bedford. Oh, I got to put... go ahead. You got to make it quick, Cool Ray. You got 30 seconds. Hit it.
All right, well, first, happy anniversary to you and your wife coming up. Me and my wife are celebrating our 29th wedding anniversary.
Another month away.
Congratulations to you guys on your success. I hope we make it 29. Go right on ahead.
I disagree with you guys.
You got to go quick.
100%. They already made the pitch. They got a roster spot for Bronny James if the reports are right, which means LeBron doesn't really care about his legacy because it's already built. He wants to get his son a fair opportunity to play in the NBA. The Lakers ain't going to do it, and no other team has ever made that claim out here as reports are saying. So if the Cavs made that roster spot or would make a roster spot available for him to put him on an active roster and give him an opportunity, we got him.
I wonder if there's something else here. How many picks do they have? Cool Ray, thank you. How many picks do they have next year?
What, the Cavs?
Yeah.
I thought they have...
The Avalanche. Yes, the Cavs. How many picks do the Cavs have in 2027?
Let me see, because I know they don't have their own pick until 2031.
Right, I'll share my theory and then a question about Francisco Lindor and whether or not you'd want him back yet, because that was an argument that they had on the afternoon show yesterday. I like where Jonathan Peterlin's head is at. I just don't like that idea. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima, live on The Fan.
Brad Evans here to help you beat the Bullets with...
insurance. Only pay for what you need.
LeBron watches on.
And this fall, I'm going to take my talents to...
Could he make another return to Cleveland? We are the place for all the latest NBA news and rumors. We are Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
So what are the Cavs picks for 2027? I gave you a whole commercial break. You didn't even look, did you? You lazy ass.
No, and that's why.
You were so lazy.
That's why I have it right here, ready to go,
Give me my
Kenny.
credit card back, by the way. I need that.
Give me back my credit card. All right, here we go. 2028.
My favorite Mel Gibson line.
It's just the whole movie around it.
Can't say many others.
They do have a first-round pick. However, it is not necessarily their own. And there's a whole paragraph I'd have to read to you.
Give me the card back.
Oh, my God.
Do they have a second-round pick? Do they have a second-round pick?
What is all this residue on here?
Stop! The cameras are
There's
on
residue
there,
on here, Kenny.
Stop it.
Jeez.
You were the last one to have it, so why would there be residue on that? Good God.
Mike, clean your cards.
Anyway, it's my fault for asking it on the air. Do they have a second-round pick next year?
They do not.
Damn it.
They're few and far between. We're still in the wilderness of draft picks.
Pick? Is that part of the deal?
Oh, they can always buy. I mean, in the past, you can buy
I'm going off of what? Who the hell did we just have? Was that Chuck and Oberlin who just called?
They have no picks next year.
Chuck and Oberlin just called, right?
Oh, yeah, I'm looking at 2028.
Yeah.
Oh,
next
my God.
year they have the most favorable of Cleveland, Minnesota, and Utah cannot be 1 through 5 to Memphis.
No,
the second
of course
most favorable to Utah and least favorable to Phoenix.
This bores me to tears.
Oh, he's not done.
I just want to know whether or not there's picks. Are there picks in 2027?
No. Second round is to Chicago via Atlanta to Minnesota.
What if we traded something for a second-round pick?
You just get on the 10 and you
in
take it to the 45.
What if we traded somebody...
The least favorable of the routes.
And part of the package was a 2027 second-round pick. Because let me throw this by. We just had Chuck... Now, I'm just going off of what Chuck and Oberlin just said, all right? This is crazy.
I got a 2032 second-rounder right now.
No protections. Boom, out of here.
When we get LeBron, we better hope and pray they win a championship because they're going to be real bad.
Yeah.
They're going to be real bad. After this group is done, they'll find a way. They always do.
Hey, the Lakers gave away basically all their picks.
Let me just say this.
And they're in worse standing than we are.
Can I just say this? All right? Going off of what Chuck said. Chuck said they were leaving a roster spot open for Bronny. Bryce Maximus does play down at Arizona, right?
Yes.
Does he,
Lima?
He's on the roster.
Hold on. Lima?
Yes.
You said you're like, I don't know if I want 2 years out of LeBron. Why did you only want 1 year out of LeBron?
I think it's just harder for me to fathom that he'll be decent enough in 2 years.
Okay,
but
so this is it.
He is LeBron.
The Cavs give him 2 years. You take Bryce. Okay, hear me out. Because, hey, you got Bronny. Bronny's making 2.3 this year with the Lakers. So you ain't got to worry about Bronny. Maybe Bronny wants to stay in L.A. He has spent a lot of formidable years in Los Angeles. Correct. Mm-hmm. So if he spent that time, maybe he just wants to stay with the Lakers. So you want to make sure everybody wants to do what's right for their son. And maybe LeBron's saying, 2 years, and next year you will find a way to get my Bryce on your basketball team. Who's saying no to that? Is there a Cavs fan that really says, that's where I draw the line, Ken? Nope, none of you do. So,
well, I do.
Now that's, if you just tuned in, this is one of the dumbest things you ever heard me say. But I'm just going off of what Chuck and Oberlin said, and that's why you need to go to the free Odyssey app and hit the rewind button and hear what Chuck had thrown out there. I already did it, but I'll do it again. By Integrated Restoration, that's what the rewind feature is brought to you by. They're your local experts in water, fire, and storm disaster restoration. Tone, what were you going to say?
I wondered if there were some fans that were like, hey, I was okay with doing the LeBron thing, but now we got to gift his son a roster spot. That's a bridge too far.
There will be people who do it. That's why I want to hear from him. I don't have much time to hear from him now.
Didn't we give Evan Mobley's brother
a
spot? Didn't
Milwaukee? Giannis's brother got a spot.
Yeah.
Yes. But I mean, if you guys are telling me that maybe what you keep using it in the argument, Brandon Weems going to be the general manager. Romeo Travis I almost called him Cornell. I was in class with Romeo Travis. Romeo Travis is on the coaching staff for the Summer League, which probably puts him on the staff for the Charge for all we know if LeBron decides to join. What the hell? What's wrong with Bryce being on the roster at the end of the year? At the end of the roster anyway next year. Who's to say anything? Or he spent some time with the Charge because he's still in Cleveland, so it ain't beating nobody to put him on the team. 2 years for LeBron. So I get 1 year. Think about this. Now I'm actually saying something with substance. The other one was just going off of Chuck and pie in the sky ideas. But seriously, I don't know where Bryce would fit in terms of the draft. I don't know. I don't know the NBA draft very well. So say you didn't have to draft him. Okay, fine. Just sign him and put him on the Charge. Or put him on the Summer League and then find a way to put him on the Charge. You get one great year out of LeBron where we're going to really go for the gusto. We're really going to try. And then you get another great year where we're going to go for it. We're going to try. But we have to have a ceremony at all these road places that he's playing in the last place. And then obviously the last home game is going to be this great big thing. And this is your life and all that other stuff before we go to the playoffs. And Bryce is going to be there the whole way. And Bryce learns from his father how to be a pro with all the other pros. Ain't nothing wrong with that. You're not saying anything. You checked out. You don't give a damn.
I don't know if Bryce is good enough for anything. I mean, he was supposed to play at Arizona last year, and I don't think he got into a game.
What's that guy? What does that have to do with me being a Cavs fan? What does that have to do with me saying to bring him on and make him a at least Cleveland Charge to make sure that his father comes here? Ain't got nothing to do with me. I don't care what they do at Arizona. I care about the Cleveland Cavaliers.
You know, it's funny. Like, the Knicks just won a championship, and one of the linchpins of everything they did was they got the shamed coach on the staff who happened to be Jalen Brunson's dad, and then Jalen Brunson signed this massive discount.
Didn't they put Kevin Durant's father or family member of some sort
on the payroll?
On the payroll with Washington when he was a possibility to go there?
You know what? I think that was a very college move. They used to do that all the time in college.
Yes. So it's not like this is unheard of. So I'm sure a lot of people are going to stomp and pout and be mad. It happens. Is it the best way to go about business? No. It's nepotism? Yeah. You want Lindor back?
Yeah, I think so.
Do we have time to play the clip? No, we don't.
We don't.
So I messed it up. Jonathan wanted Lindor back yesterday. Nick did not, which I swear to God I thought I heard something different a couple months ago, but forget it.
Who's to keep track of all this?
Yeah, who is? You do. You tried to rope me into saying that Todd Monken was better than Sean Payton yesterday, and thank God I learned my lesson. I don't think he's better than Sean Payton. Ass. You want Francisco Lindor back?
I think it'd be a lot of fun.
Would it?
I think so. I think there's a lot.
Fun?
I think there's a lot of.
Don't just point at him and egg him on. I want a serious opinion.
At the time they were kids, and now how old are they? 6 years later, 7 years later, 8 years later?
No.
They still have those jerseys.
Song coming.
We're not doing this.
Now, whether they fit into them, that's another story.
Well, I think they both would probably fit into them. Josh Naylor's a different set of circumstances, but whatever.
He's smaller now.
Josh Naylor?
In what mirror?
Yeah.
Funhouse.
Don't forget everybody hates him too.
A funhouse mirror. Which is sad because those two have a long history of playing together. Austin Hedges and Josh Naylor. Anyway, you would take Francisco Lindor back?
I think so. I think he instantly would have a shot to be one of your better players.
$30 million a year for like the next decade?
Well, I don't want to pay $30 million a year. Let's make that clear. The Mets.
How many drinks did you have last night?
You know,
because he's doing that. You're doing that single Lima glossiness thing where you're starting to come down from last night.
Though he made it pretty.
Yeah,
far.
he did.
The important thing was to stay hydrated. That was the important
thing.
Right
at the finish line.
Like he's leaning back and kind of it'd be fun. Yeah, let's do this and that. Like you're kind of. Come on now.
I didn't tell you. I found out.
Let me drag you across the finish line.
I found out who the lady was that Chris Brown brought on stage.
Ahead.
Cannot tell you on the air. I got intel. Good intel.
Anybody we know?
From one of our great, intrepid reporters.
Are you serious?
Cam Justice told me. She wasn't the one.
I was going to say,
no, not Cam
You just said you were going to say it on the air.
But I got some intel. That'll be a Mike's off situation.
Ooh. Well, that's no fun. They want to hear who it is. Can you tell me what the name rhymes with? No, don't do that. Don't do that. Big thanks to everybody who joined us today. Jason was great. Tomorrow's Thursday. Mary Kay going to join us on the show. Hopefully she won't be boarding a plane this time. What a pro. Still was willing to do it. Love Mary Kay.
Except she was talking over the instructions. So,
well, the instructions were talking over her.
People would have been like, I was going to put the inflatable on the right way, but this lady was talking Browns quarterbacks next to me.
And making sure that you're not booing.
Now we all die.
Hey,
sounds good.
Where's your entourage now?
Cool, I got on the last show.
Oh, boy.
This is an Odyssey Sports Minute.
Sponsored by Metal Supermarket.